Hello, everybody. It's a Friday. Welcome to the Tardis Zone Talks. I hope you are all doing well. Happy weekend to you all. Yeah, we have obviously there's been a lot going on with the rumors over the last few days. Obviously, I did a video after I was sent some information. Now, that person actually tried to text me today on Twitter to say that it was an April Fool's joke. So what I did was I blocked their ass. Listen, I haven't got time for people making up shit. Okay? Now, of course, I do get accused of that, but my wife will even tell you, I hate anybody that makes up shit, right? Because, you know, to give fans hope like that or false hope like that is the wrong thing to do. What we try to do on this channel is present all the information to you guys, and then we let you guys make up your own mind. But for people to think that it's okay, and I don't care if it's April Fool's Day, right? You don't start making up rumors because you think it'll be a nice little laugh, right? It's not a laugh, okay? Fans are genuinely, invested. Then when someone goes and does something like that, I showed you the account it was. As I said, they tried to bloody tell me it was an April Fool's joke. I'm not gonna tolerate that sort of nonsense. Listen, when I get my stuff off my sources, I make it very clear it's rumor and speculation. But I don't get people to put their hopes up, you know. Did you see it was Near Den who made up the rumor you talked about? He's a small YouTuber. Listen, as I said yesterday in my video, I don't care who's making up rumors, right? But if you're that sad that you actually have to make up rumors for whatever reason it is, then there is something definitely wrong with you. I don't know who that YouTuber is. I don't care, right? To be quite honest, I really don't care, right? At the end of the day, if that person is that sad and pathetic that they think it's okay to go and make up jokes and stuff like that, and to make up rumors like that, well, then shame on them. That's all I'll say. Shame on them, because I know it's April Fools and people like to tell jokes. For example, yesterday, here was my April Fool's joke, right? I said, I just robbed a bank, 150 large. Ted was the getaway driver and Sharon was the lookout, right? That's how you do an April Fool's joke. Everybody knows that Ted is me dog. So if anybody had a fell for that, that's stupid anyway. But that's how you do a joke on April Fool's Day. You don't try fool the fans by how sad do you have to be to do something like that anyway, right? So look, at the end of the day, people accuse me of that, but yeah, people on their side are deliberately doing it, and they'll be praised for it and patted on the back. Oh, great April Fool's joke. So it's one of those situations where I'm just mind boggled, because if that was me, right, and I've been accused of making up stuff, you see what happens, right? They come after me. That guy is going to get a pat on the back for what he did, right? And it's disgraceful. So listen, there's been a lot of rumors on Reddit. I said it in my video. I still do believe that one of them is legit, and the rest are trying to discredit like that gobshite because he's nothing better to do. It's sad and pathetic, lads. Sad and pathetic. An April Fool's joke that was supposed to be me arse, right? They knew exactly what they were doing. So I don't know. It's getting to the stage now where where I'm just I've been cautious anyway. I'm going to continue to be cautious because, you know, God knows what else these people are going to do. Listen, I told you already, right? BBC America, Emily Cook, right, have given them ammunition, right? They set a very dangerous precedent, right? As soon as they reversed on their decisions, these kids have a little bit of power. Now they're going around and they're openly admitting that they're making up rumors. And yet nobody that criticized me and accuses me of that has come out and criticized them. Have you noticed that? See, it's a hypocrisy. It's okay for their side to make up shit, but it's not okay for me to put out rumor and speculation from my sources because I'm being accused of lying and making up stuff. But they're blatantly making up stuff and blatantly admitting that they're making up stuff. I just don't know what to say or do anymore with these people. They're just a bunch of hypocrites, to be honest with you. And that's how I feel about it. Now, I don't know. Marty said he was supposed to come on. He sent me a message. So I'm going to see if he's going to come on first. Right? And then I'll put the link in the link description. But we're dealing with something with Ted now at the moment, actually.
It's bad.
So, yeah. So, yeah. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. It'll yeah, Ted just got himself a little bit overexcited as doggies do. So he's having one of those doggy embarrassing moments because you know there's a dog out there, I reckon, that's probably
you can probably stop sharing.
Yeah, I'll shut up now. Sharon says that it's not the animal channel, so I should stop. Discovery Channel, I should say. So I should stop. But yeah. So I'm sending Marty the link there. We'll see what he has to say, or see what he has. But I have to say, I'm going to be very skeptical from now on. And listen, I have been, as you know, I've said it to you, take these with a massive grain of salt, because, you know, there's going to be a lot of misinformation out there. But the fact that they're openly admitting it, what can I say? It tells you all you need to know about that side, you know? It just tells you everything you need to know. And it's sad. It's sad. And, you know, I'm got to be honest, I'm legitimately have been getting source information, and I've taken it in the neck because people have accused me of all sorts. But yeah, as I said, there's their side openly admitting that they're faking rumors on Reddit, and nobody says that to them. They get away with it scot-free. Scot-free. So, I don't know. Alpha says, why is it always a pinch of salt? And why not pepper or something else? Do you know, that's a good question, Alpha. I haven't the clue, mate. I really don't.
Are we fixed yet?
No, we're not.
Jesus.
We're not fixed yet.
I don't know what to do with that.
Right, it says, Marty, your device is not connected. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to sort it out there. But I don't know, Marty. I don't know, Alpha. That's a good one. That's a good. Oh, there you go. I think you're here now. I mean, I think it'd be a bit stupid to say, take it with a sprinkle of vinegar or something, something like that. I don't think it would work. Right, it's in. So do me a favor, close that. Close his.
I'm taking him. I got
yeah.
it. I know.
Right, I'm gonna bring Marty on. Sorry about that, Ted. I just want to make. He's all right now. He's still walking a bit funny, but he's all right.
Fucking nasty little bastard.
I'll take him inside because he's just getting there. He's just getting.
Graceful.
By the way, I just want to say something. So, Lee put up a song last night on his was it last night? I think it was last night or this morning or whenever it was, right? And I went and I had a listen to it, right? Now, he knows himself. I'm not a huge Janet Jackson fan, right? And he did a cover, What Have You Done For Me Lately, right? And I listened to it, so I obviously knew who it was. So I played it for Cheryl today, right? And I go, Sharon, listen to this and tell me who you think this is, right? So I'll put the song on. And she goes, it's Prince, right? And I says, no, it's not. It's not Prince. She says, give me a clue. I says, no. I said, listen to it. I said, listen. So she started listening and listening and listening, right? And I says, who is it? She says, no, go on, give me a clue. I says, someone that I do have on the channel all the time. And she goes, that isn't Lee, is it? I says, yeah, it is Lee. Yeah, I have to say, man, very catchy. I actually started checking out some of his other videos as well. Checked out some of his live performances on his other channel. Didn't know I wasn't subscribed, by the way, so I've rectified that shit. Don't know what's going on there. But yeah, been listening to it, some of his music actually. But I have to say that version of it's very good, man. It's very good. And I don't even like Janet Jackson. I can't stand that song. But you put an interesting spin on it that actually makes me enjoy the song. So thank you. But I have to say, I even said it to Cheryl. I was listening to it and I says, wow, he's so talented. And you know, I was kind of thinking, why aren't you still doing it? Because you obviously have a talent. I even watched some of your little video blogs that you did as well with your bandmates before you were going on. Been watching a good few of your videos today, actually. Yeah, man. Listen, I have to say it, man. As Ocean Man song doesn't do it. Look, that's a great tune. I'm not taking it away from you, but man, your talent is in the videos and the music that you used to do beforehand. Absolutely brilliant, man. Love it. Right, I'm gonna bring Marty on before he does disappear again, because there seems to be, I don't know, maybe it's the good weather. See, it's weird, isn't it? You seem to have internet problems during good weather plus bad weather, but it's worse during the good weather. I don't know, maybe the sun's, I don't know. Can anybody explain that shit to me? I don't know. Right, let's bring him on and let's see what he has for us, or if there's any updates. But obviously he's been listening to me, so he would have heard what's been going on. But let's bring him on. It's the one and only Marty.
Do you know something? That weather is beer drinking weather.
It is, and that's the worst thing about it, because none of the pubs are open.
Oh god, I know. I was actually sitting there this evening before I came in, and I was like, "Well, I went out to the off license or will I not?" So I didn't get.
Do you know what though? It's not the same. It's just not. It's not the same. Like after about two or 3 points when you're sitting wherever you're sitting, right in your gap, you just get. It's not the same. There's no atmosphere. You know.
No, there's no crack at all. Like it's not the same when you have about 10 or 20 people around you. Like,
yeah,
that's it. Yeah. That's it. No, I was just listening to you there. I was sort of cutting it out, but I got the gist of what you were saying. Listen, there's a lot of shit going around. People are going to start making up shit. I notice. I noticed a certain person on Twitter. ... is all I'll say. Is starting to come out and is claiming to verify and deny stuff, which is a bit odd because.
Tell me in the private chat there.
Yeah. I'll tell you who it is, but
yeah, because it'll be interesting.
That person there.
Oh,
And I don't know why it's doing that, because normally it's throwing out rumors left, right, and center. So why does it suddenly think now that it can verify rumors and deny them? So,
right, right. See, I don't want to say who I think is behind
yeah. Oh, you
behind that.
told me, but I'm not going to say
Yeah,
who it is. Like,
right. But if you look at the account that says it's from the US, now here's the thing: you can't fake that, folks. Right? You could say that you're living in the US, you could be living in Ireland, but the the location track will always put the place where you are. So if you're in America, you're in America. That account is set up in the US, and I have these suspicions who I think it is. Right? See, they're very clever with the way they add the words and then they add a full stop. That's
yeah.
deliberately done so we can't identify whose writing style it is. But I think I'm on to who it is, and I wouldn't be listening to anything that comes out of that. And we could say the Twitter account actually. Doctor Who rumor monger, whatever you call it. That account is a load of bull.
It's throwing out rumors that contradicts itself. I don't know, but I actually had a look at it there earlier on today, and the person that you and I think it is actually following them, so it stacks up. It stacks up. So yeah.
Look, I'm not ticked. Look at. Ever since, and I don't want to give the game away, but ever since something happened a few months back, I know. I just know. I have a funny. I know this person inside out. They think I do. Trust me. I know this person inside out, and I'm telling you, has to be because it's just weird that when the site first came out, right? I was covering rumors at the time, and then do you remember they came out with rumors that literally contradicted what I was putting out, and then they started putting out other stuff. So listen, I kind of know who that is already. I just need to try find some way of proving it, but to expose them, because I am going to expose them, because they're not getting away with that either. As I said, I hate fucking liars. I hate people that spread false rumors, right? Now, I get accused of that, but here's the thing: I'm getting it off sources. I don't know if it's true or not. That's why I say it's rumor and speculation, right? But when there's people deliberately out there admitting on their YouTube channel and admitting that they're faking stuff on Reddit, for what? And apparently it was supposed to be an April Fool's joke. That ain't no April Fool's joke. Do you not know that fans are genuinely invested in all these videos? Look at me views for them. These videos do better than any other video that I've done in the past few months, these Reddit videos, and I can admit that, right? There's fans genuinely invested in those videos. And then when you have people making up rumors, look at that's why I did my video last night, right? I knew the game. They showed they revealed their hand, and this is why they're coming out now saying, "Oh, it's only an April Fool's joke," because they're trying to divert attention away from the fact that they're scum for spreading false rumors and giving fans false hope. By the way, that's the thing that annoys me. That's why I always make it clear now that it's rumor and speculation. I do not want people to be getting their hopes up, because look what happened to me. I got me hopes up during Series 11, and I was burned big time and gutted at the same time. So I know how it felt. So I didn't want anybody else to feel like that. And there probably was a few people that were with me along the way that did feel as devastated as I did. So no, I hate that. The one thing I hate is a liar and someone who does shit like that to store crap up. Right? And where is all the big YouTubers out there that are always outraged about stuff? Where are you coming out after these people? You won't, because they're on your side of the argument. And once they're on your side of the argument, they get away with this with impunity. But when someone like me genuinely puts out source information, right, we're attacked and we're told we're liars. These are a bunch of hypocrites. You know what? I said it a few months back. that YouTuber in particular and all of the others that have been out there attacking me for these last few months have all lost credibility. Every single one of you have, because your side, look at what your side keeps doing. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. You ought to be all ashamed of yourselves because you've helped create this atmosphere by attacking people like us, people with different opinions, people that didn't necessarily like this particular era of Doctor Who. And because of that, you are pulling off tactics like this, bullying fans on a regular daily basis, right? Trying to dox fans, trying to cancel fans, and then doing hit pieces on them on Twitter, YouTube, or whatever bloody platform that you are on. You are an absolute disgrace to this fandom. And the sooner you are gone, the better. Because I tell you one thing, the worst thing that BBC did was pander to all you little fools. Worst thing they ever did was pander to you little fools. Because look at the damages they're doing now. Look at the damage. BBC America can't even put up a post, Doctor Who post, without you all shouting, racist, they're burning crosses. Sick of it. These are a bunch of hypocrites. So don't ever come to me again about what I do, right? Because this is what you're going to be told. Mind your own fucking business, right? Because you're not going to call out people that are blatantly lying, blatantly making up rumors. Well, then you can kiss my ass as far as I'm concerned. I don't care what you say about me anymore or what you do when it's concerning what I do, right? It's falling on deaf ears from now on. You have no credibility. You have lost it all. You are done. You are finished with me. So listen, keep up with your little sad existence, because, you know, this little existence that you have, right? This era is going to disappear. And then BBC will finally cop on that they can't pander to you fools anymore. And as soon as that day comes, I tell you, we'll all be celebrating, because your day is coming. You think you can control everything that people can think, say in this fandom. Well, you have another thing coming. I'm going to be here for a long time, and there'll be other YouTubers out there that are just like me that are going to pop up and are going to continue to do what I do as well, because we're not going to pull up with this sort of nonsense anymore. But these people have been making up rumors. I'm not saying, as I said, that every single... Listen, I'm still with Marty on the fact that I think one of these Reddit users was legit. And I think the rest of them now have shown their true colors. Listen, I've said this all along. We need to stand up to these people now. I'm done messing with these little shits, right? They are trying to ruin everything. Now they're blatantly coming out and faking information. For what? They're saying it's an April Fool's joke, but let's not beat around the bush. The reason why they did it is because they're trying to discredit people that do this. So they were aware that I was doing these videos. Because why do you think they came to me with that thread, right? Because they've been watching the videos I've been doing. So you try to discredit me. But again, as I said at the start of every video, I say it's rumor and speculation. So you won't be able to discredit me. Because for the simple fact is that the people that watch me are highly intelligent, and they know the difference between fact and rumor and speculation. That's the difference. If you morons don't know the difference between those two, well, I can't help you, right? That's just our parents' fault, the educational system's fault for not making you smarter enough, okay? So don't be coming at us anymore. It's not our fault that you are dumb, all right? So go and sort yourselves out, go and educate yourselves, and maybe then you might cop on and see that everything that you are doing is very destructive. It is. It is, and you are causing a lot of heartache as well, and a lot of mental health issues with people out there, which is a behavior. You are driving people off the internet, but you are also driving people insane, and you need to be stopped. You need to stop as well. And you know what, BBC, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, by the way, right? Because you guys are well aware that all of this stuff is happening. You are well aware that all of this stuff is happening. Myself and Lee last year, I sent stuff to the BBC. I said, this is the people that you're pandering to, when they threatened my wife, when they said all those nasty things to my wife, when they threatened me, threatened Lee, threatened Daniel, threatened loads of people. in this fandom with vile, disgusting tweets and posts of porn images and all of this. I sent them a file. So this is who you're pandering to. And who are they being protected by? The very same people that go after me and go after everybody else in this, and people that actually have a bit of power in this fandom. So it's time. Look, it needs to stop. And I'm sorry for going on a big, massive rant here, but I'm sick of it. When I heard that today, when I got that tweet off that person, right, saying, "Oh, it was just an April Fool's joke." Could you imagine? I just want you to all pick this. Could you imagine if I had somehow gone onto Reddit, knew how to use it, and then went up and wrote, "How are you? I have source information. I trust me sources," and I wrote a whole thread, right? And then I came out the next day after April Fools, and I told everybody that it was me, and I'd made that up. What do you think would happen? The reaction would be from the other side. What would be the reaction? I think you already all know what the reaction would be. They tried to cancel me channel. They'll be harassing me on Twitter. They'll be sending me private messages. They'll be setting up accounts to troll me. That's exactly what would happen. Right? Now, has there been any consequences for that guy? But no, because we're not like that. But where's the consequences from his own side to reprimand them for doing something like that? When one of our side steps out of line or says, we call them out. They can't call them because they're hypocrites. And that's all they'll ever be. They have a problem with human nature, but not with Rosa Parks. Again, hypocrites. They'll always be hypocrites. And they're dangerous now because BBC America and Emily Cook gave them a bit of power. And they know they can take down posts. They know they can get watch-alongs cancelled. And now they're making up rumours. And they're getting away with it. And they'll continue to get away with it. Because, listen, I'm a small YouTuber in a big pond. Right? As I said, there are big... There's Doctor Who fans that we know that run big, huge channels. They need to be talking about this. They need to be highlighting this. I know they're busy with Disney and stuff and all of that other stuff. But the Doctor Who is also important. You know, those fans out there, you know, don't neglect the show. Don't neglect the fandom. Right now, you guys are needed more than ever. I know some of you would rather, you know, I know you are more occupied with or preoccupied with talking about Disney and how they treated Gina Carano, but that's been for months now. I think you need to focus on this as well, because this needs to be spoke about. This is a big issue right now in this fandom, and if they can continue to do what they do, we'll have nothing left. We'll have absolutely nothing left. So we need this. Look at all their behavior needs to be highlighted, and there are Doctor Who fans that we know that run big channels, and I think those guys should start stepping up to the plate and start highlighting the issues within the fandom and the issues with these fans and what they're doing, what they've managed to do, which is have BBC America remove a tweet because it had John Smith because he's a racist. And then they got Emily Cook to stop the Unicorn and the Wasp watch along. And then she did another one, but then she said it was the last one because she wasn't going to do them anymore because they put her in an awkward position. And they keep getting away with it. And nobody else is highlighting it. Right, there might be other smaller YouTubers like me highlighting it. But we need a kind of a Fandom Menace style coverage on this. This needs to be exposed to all fandoms of what's going on. And it also needs to be addressed by those bigger YouTubers, because unless they highlight it, people like me are look at I don't have any influence in this fandom. I'm not under any illusions. I never have. People just respect my opinions. They don't agree with me all the time, but I've built up an audience because people like what I have to say. But at the end of the day, I'm a small little fish in this big pond, and there's bigger fish out there that could do a lot more if they highlighted what I'm highlighting right now. So I'll say no more because I don't want to get into a big another big rant. But I'm sorry that I did. But look, at the end of the day, I'm just done. I'm just like faking rumors. What else? What else are they gonna do? And remember, these people have faked evidence against me and others in this fandom. Lee, one of them in the chat there. You know, they set up fake accounts and all like on the same day. And then they present this as evidence to the rest of the godshites that follow them, and they swallow it. They swallow it. Like the account's just being set up, but they say, "No, this is no zone. This is no zone. Even though it's different, it's no zone." Yeah. Listen, I've got better things to be doing, and trust me, right? Trust me. If I was gonna do something, I don't hide behind accounts. I never have. If I've got to say to you, I'll say to you our faces. It's simple as that. Right. Well, I'm done now for. But is there anything else on Reddit or do you want to still talk about that rumor monger? What else were they saying?
Oh, there's nothing on Reddit at the minute. Everything is just well quiet. I mean, there is some people, not rumors, but just sort of speculation about when Series 13 will air. I think I seen a post where somebody's worked it out that it'll probably be the 3rd or the 10th of October where it'll be aired. I don't know what I just sort of skimmed through the post, but that's what it said, that they reckon it's either going to be the 3rd or the 10th of October. That'll be the air date for Series 13. So,
now, are you saying we need to fix dumb fans or fix the BBC? We need to fix the BBC, and the BBC needs to stop pandering to dumb people. Simple as that. They dumbed Doctor Who down. Doctor Who could be shown on CBBS right now. I mean, when adults watch it with their kids, the adults are falling asleep. It's that crap. It's like, that's how bad. That's what I mean. Yeah, and they have dumbed it down, and I don't care if that offends people out there anymore. Don't really care. They are dumb. They are dumb. They need everything explained to them on the screen. That's why, Jodie talks into the camera, talks down to us. That's why he puts his little animation up on the screen. He needs to explain everything to these dumb people, right? Because they're not interested in the cipher. They need to be explained everything because they're more interested in if the character is shipping with another character, or what their gender is, or what their skin color is, or whatever other nonsense that they're bloody advocating for, right? That's what they're interested in. But Chris Chibnall has to write these things and put it out there so people can well, there will be fans that's not everything for them, and they'll want to follow a bit of a story. So he throws that up for them, right? He throws that up for them, right? They're dumbed down Doctor Who. It's for dumb people, right? Trust me. We watch Doctor Who, real Doctor Who. When we watch Doctor Who, whether it's the classic or new Who era, right, it keeps us engaged, right? We talk about it, we debate. You can't even talk about this new. There's nothing, right? There's no plots, right? And if there is plots, there's weak as hell, right? There's no character development, right? Every character, that, including the one that's playing the Doctor and Jodie Whittaker, no character development, right? Tolson Cole, right? Ryan Sinclair, supposed to have a disability, right? Many times was that actually highlighted within the series, right? Wasn't a true reflection. So again, poor character development. Yasmin Khan, supposed to be a cop, was also supposed to be bullied as a teenager. Where's the character development?
Ryan was supposed to be a mechanic. He was supposed to be trained to be a mechanic. Not once did I ever see him putting that to use during his time there. You know, if you wanted to develop him, like, why the hell did you not just have a scene with him fucking, with the doctor tinkering at the TARDIS or something like that?
Exactly. Well, what they focused on was the disability, right? But they didn't even focus on it that well. They kind of threw in a couple of scenes, right? Because that's what he was there for. Just his disability. Not the fact that he was a mechanic, right? For his disability. Yaz is there, I don't know why, because she's supposed to be a cop, but she doesn't know cop stuff, right? And also she's supposed to be being bullied, yeah, right? I mean, that character development is so weak, right? That we're still trying to figure out what Yaz is all about. Even now, we're still trying. Now, as I said in the latest festive special, he gave her a little bit more to do. But now one of the rumors was talking about possibly that she could be going to either Torchwood or Unit, right? Okay. Yeah. With the character development she has, that's really going to happen. Will you go and pull the other one? Right? Did she know character development? Again, this is Chris Chibnall's writing team fault. No proper storylines, right? We get a toothed monster in the second episode or the first episode, whatever it was, right? Doesn't show up all the way through, right? They mentioned the stanza once or twice, right? And then we get him right at the end of the series. Didn't make sense. No character development, no plot line, no build up to it. Load of bollocks. That's what Chris Chibnall does. So congratulations to everybody that supports it. As I said, dumb down for the dumb idiots that support this era.
It's it's not serious. Like, even and I found it's very predictable too. I mean, I watch and series, like, even the likes of, even though yes, you watch, like, even though you do know what happens in older episodes, even now I find it very predictable. Like, Chibnall's writing is just very predictable. I could sort of, some of the things I can just sort of, I have it in my head, when they're like, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. And I'm like, well, yeah, they're going to do this. Yeah, obviously the logical thing is to do this. So, and that's what they do. They end up, nothing, the writing doesn't really, it hasn't really tricked me. You sort of always knew what was coming next. If you know what I mean, there was never really a shock apart from, nothing that springs to the top of my head, but you always could sort of predict what's coming, which is the sad thing about it. I think that's the thing that sort of annoys me the most.
Yeah, I mean, there's the biggest one. That unknown brought it up. Graham, he just lost his missus as well. I mean, where was the grieving process? Where was the character development there? Where, you know what I mean? And then look at what they made his character do during that era. The things that he had to do. He basically had to stay on that bus in Rosa Parks. So he's in a interracial relationship, yeah, and then they go and do that to him. Then he has to stay on the bus so Rosa gets trapped. No. You don't do that. Don't do that. And then when the doctor did finally come across a grieving man, what'd she do? She gives out to him. You abandoned your daughter.
Right? It's that's actually a good point. The fact that he lost his wife and there was literally no more mention of it after. Why not have a scene where something reminds him of? Why did they not have a scene where something reminds him of her and you see him crying or something like that? Because it's only natural for that to happen. Like, the grieving process is you do end up, I don't know what it's like. Thank God I've never had to experience that yet. But you do, there will be occasions where something will remind you of them and it will bring a tear to your eye. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's look. I mean, that his character development weak, and then when they did introduce his wife back, it was all a bloody trick. It wasn't real. Again, disrespectful. Look, everything that Chris Chibnall did was disrespectful. When he went to the doctor about his cancer, that scene was as cold as Art and I've ever seen on Doctor Who. And I'm not just saying that, right, because I don't like this era. It was. I've got family members that I've seen die in front of my eyes, right? Waste away from cancer, right? It's horrible, right? It has a huge effect on not just the person that has it, but they're family members and stuff. And for the Doctor to act so cold like that and to come out with a stupid line, socially awkward. Jodie Whittaker herself, anyway, I said it at the time and I'll say it again, should have known that that line was wrong. That was wrong. But she went along with it anyway. And it was disgusting. And then when they got complaints about it, what did the BBC do in typical manner? Right? They kind of dismissed all the the Doctor wasn't being disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. Right? The usual crap out of them. How many complaints did Series 11 and all get? Loads. And they ignored them all. Right? Then Series 12 came out. We'll give them something that they know, right? And then what does he go and do in Spyfall Part 2? He basically gets the Doctor, right, who happens to be white, and gets the Master, who happens to be of Asian descent, right, in France, in occupied Nazi France, right? And what does the Doctor do? She gets a screwdriver and she gets rid of his perception filter. So he's exposed to the Nazis. A bunch of bloody racists, like. She leaves him exposed to a bunch of bloody racists. And this is supposed to be groundbreaking TV. This is Doctor Who. This is the way the Doctor should be behaving. Right? Look at some of the things that the Doctor has done. Now, this is not Jodie Whittaker's fault. Obviously, it's the writing. But look at the things that the Doctor has had to do. Right? It's not Doctor-like behavior. The Doctor kind of comes across as lots of people have said it, but she's incompetent. She's a liability. You know what I mean? You wouldn't trust her to save a planet of people. I wouldn't. I mean, remember the humans that were left? Right? Sure, she killed all 78% of them after she met them. I'm here to save you all. Bang, bang, bang. Well, you're dead. You know, what kind of rubbish is this? Seriously, this is what they've been feeding us for the last few years, right? And there's people that support this rubbish. There's people that genuinely think, and listen, good on them. If they genuinely like this, right, and they've no agenda, and they genuinely do like this, well then fair play to you. But I don't get it. But the rest that claim to like it, they don't like it. There's no way that they could say they're Doctor Who fans and they could say that this is top quality television, that this is top quality Doctor Who. Because if that's top quality Doctor Who now, well then I'm telling you, I'd really hate to see how bad it needs to get for these fans to think it's bad, because I think it's really bad now. I mean, 57% of the audience also think it's bad, but to these fans, it's still amazing. I just don't get it. I really don't. It's baffled me for the last few years how they can support this and think that there's now. Listen, as I said, there are genuine fans of this show, right? And they've no agenda. They don't bother with anybody, and they do like this show. It appeals to them. To those people, I say good luck to you. But to the rest, you know them. You interact with them every day. They claim to be fans. They're not fans. They're not fans. And I'll tell you why they're not fans, right? This is how you know they're not fans. Because they wanted to change everything that came in the past, even in the recent past. So if they're fans, why do they want to change things so much? Because they're not fans. They never are fans. They're activists. They're a cult. They're whatever you want to call them, right? They have an agenda. And their agenda is all of this nonsense that BBC is pandering to them for. And Doctor Who's suffering because of it. And you know what? They don't care. They don't care that Doctor Who's suffering. As far as they're concerned, you know, once their agenda is getting across, they don't care. We're the bad stain on this fandom. Well, I would disagree with that. I think we've already seen the side of the fandom that's done the most damage. And the rest of the fans, including the audience, which is 57%, have decided to walk away from this show. Right? You're losing fans, real fans, every year. This continues. So you're only left with and you will be only left with all these so-called fans. And they're not fans. As soon as they know the gig is up and Doctor Who is about to sink, they'll fuck off to the next thing. And that's what they'll do. and then they'll ship other characters, and then they'll do the same to that show, and then move on because they're like locusts. That's what they are. Well, Marty, is there anything else you would like to add before I bring on the other guests? Because I have Charlotte waiting, I have Lee waiting, Scottish Stavros, and Jack as well is waiting. So we have a few people waiting tonight.
Not even. I think you've pretty much covered the most of it. There's as I said at the start, there's nothing new at the minute, but as you said, I've still got my money in that rumor that was deleted. I think that's the one. I think that's you and I are on the same page when it comes to that. I think it makes the most sense, that rumor. So we'll hope to see hope something comes off it, because I know it was posted. Jesus, it was posted over a week, maybe more ago. So what was I going to say? Yeah. So
yeah, just keep your eyes open anyway. Even though I am skeptical of these idiots, just keep your eye open anyway, and see whatever comes out. Sure, look, you're a good judge of these things anyway, and you've already proven that. So you will know by reading something if it's complete and utter bull anyway.
Yep,
so,
that's it. You know what's crap, and you know what's sort of decent, you know.
Yeah.
So that's sort of it.
Well, listen, do you want to plug yourself? You're on Twitter. Do you want to tell everybody? I know Chris has already put it up, but just let everybody know in the chat.
I just give me a follow on Twitter if anybody's on Twitter, and I'll DM me about anything. I'm up for a discussion or a debate on whatever you wish. I'll happily talk about anything Who related and give me opinions. And if you see anything that looks sort of maybe something to do with news or anything, even swing it my way or swing it Noel's way, and we'll have a look at it and see what we think of it.
Yeah,
maybe we'll see if it's worth airing. If that's the term for it.
That's it. But if I think it's worth throwing out there, I will, because that's what we're here for, to keep you all informed. Well, listen, Marty, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thanks for keeping us updated anyway. But I have to be honestly say that did annoy me when that huge, because if I did something like that, you know what
I know. It would be hell rated down.
Yeah, it'd be ridiculous, but hypocrites anyway. But listen, keep us informed anyway. I'm pretty sure there'll be something anyway, because we're getting to that stage of filming now where we might start getting more information, or even like some more photos or stuff like that. So
that's it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say though. If anybody is in the chat and he's come across Doctor Who and he's happened to be in the area, don't break, obviously, lockdown. I'm not telling you to do that, but if you happen to be out and the restrictions are lifted a little bit, and you get to see like what we've already seen, some fans snap a few photos or a bit of video, if you want to send them our way, please do. And photos and video is different. Obviously, like, there is no debate on whether we put them up or not. That's a given. They go up if they're legit, so yeah, if you have any of that stuff as well, you could send it our way. Marty, you were going to say something there just before I let you go.
I'll just say I'll still stick around in the chat box. So if you have anything you want to ask or anything, just type away, and I'll respond back to you.
There you go. Fantastic, Marty. Thanks for being the first one on. Really appreciate it.
No bother. Speak to you soon.
See you soon. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.
Right, that was Marty. Grant G asks, where do you get the 57% figure from? Easy. It's what you do is you basically get the numbers from the woman who fell to earth, and then you go from there to the very last episode that you had on series 12, and the drop is 57%. Now, the festive special I don't know if that's made a difference or improved the 57%. I don't think it actually has, but that's where we get the figure from. It's actually openly known. BBC have even said that they know that they've lost, that the audience is not what it should be, but they're still pretty happy with it. So, I mean, that's probably BBC lowering expectations, which you should never do with Doctor Who. So that's how we get the 57% figure. YouTubers have actually broke it down. I think that there's some YouTubers out there that have actually done videos on the breakdown. I know there's some on the other side that have tried to spin the ratings and tried to make them better than what they are. But you can't spin an audience walking away. Like, it doesn't matter how many videos you do on it, you cannot spin that. So, like, you know, facts back up everything. It's 57.2 according to Problem Being. Yeah. So it's judged from the woman who fell to earth until the latest episode, which before the festive special would have been the end of the series 12, which would have been the timeless child debacle. So yeah, that's where the number comes from. A lot of people dropped off after that as well. So the festive special was supposed to give an indication, but because the festive special was slightly better than what he's given us over the last few years, I think that the ratings, even though they weren't spectacular, they were decent enough. But it's still not great. Doctor Who should be hitting. Look at the woman who fell to earth, right? What was that? 10.98 million, right? The overnights. Obviously, the consolidated figures was near 12, right? You should be nearly getting 9-10 million viewers an episode a week for Doctor Who. It shouldn't be dropping. Jodie Whittaker's Doctor was supposed to be a big gamble to reinvigorate the show, but it didn't do that. So we're in the predicament that we're in because it didn't pay off. So, right, let me see. We're going to bring on our very own, the one and only. She's a queen now. Yeah, she's a queen. And she's embracing the name. So, like, yes. So we have Scottish Davros Problem Being Jack May, but we've got first, as they say, ladies first. It's the one and only Queen Sharon.
Hello. Well, to be fair,
Hello,
the chat gave me... Oh,
how are you, Your Royal Highness?
good. As I said, to be fair, oh, I'm back. The chat gave me that name.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, it's justified. So all hail the Queen. All hail the Queen. Right. So what I'll do is, because there's yourself, Lee, Scottish Davros, Daniel, welcome, and Jack, I'll give you all 15 minutes each. I think that's fair. So as soon as you want to start your topic, I don't know what you want to talk about. You might want to talk about something completely different. That's up to yourself. But you can go ahead now, Sharon, and let us know what you want to talk about.
Well, it is related, and it's funny you mentioned Rosa, because I do think it's worth explaining to some of the more vocal defenders and fans of the current era what a lot of fans had issue with that episode, because they seem to really struggle, some of them, to understand.
Yeah.
And I'll take it more from a historical perspective, because I remember watching that myself, and I've heard other people talk about this. And if you look at that episode as a historical episode, for the theme he was obviously trying to tackle, which was the American Civil Rights Movement in that period of history. And first of all, you cannot do that time period in one episode any justice, because I happen to do this for my history A level. So I know a bit about it. And if you look at that the civil rights movement, it wasn't just one factor that swung them to get the vote, basically. It was multiple factors all working together or building on each other to get where they got by the end of it. And Rosa Parks was important there's no taking that away from it. We're not saying she wasn't important, but she was just one like part, like a cog in the massive machine. Because in that time period, you also had Martin Luther King, who basically was a glorified cameo in the episode, which I thought was incredibly disrespectful to what Martin Luther King did. And he was so important because of his background, because he was a priest, because he was religious. And why that was important was because then the middle I'm trying to think of the term, like the middle class, like white population in America, they saw his background, they saw he was a very well-spoken person, he could do brilliant speeches, and he spoke to them. And at the end of the day, the black community, or whatever term you want to use, needed to get those groups to listen to their arguments, to actually take them on and not just ignore them. And Martin Luther King was key to having that happen. You also had Malcolm X, who was on the opposite side of the spectrum, because whereas Martin Luther King wanted to work with the white population, he saw it as, we can't be this sort of, see them as a massive adversary. We have to work with them. Whereas Malcolm X was the opposite end. He was very, no, we can stand by our own. We might have to use some more violent methods. We might have to be a bit more abrasive in our methods to get what we want. So you sort of had the same argument, but two different figureheads, sort of battling and having debates and talking. And you also had the Black Panther movement, which was connected with Malcolm X, which was a big empowerment thing for the black community. It was a massive sort of, we'll stand together, we'll get ourselves seen. So those were just like a few figureheads, and with Rosa Parks being a part of that group, because obviously her standing on that bus and refusing was a big sort of moment for showing that they weren't just going to sit back and be told what they can't and couldn't do anymore. So she was important for that. But then you also had a lot of other other things happening at that time period. You had the peaceful protest, which was the sit-ins on the buses that were happening. And that was another really striking image. Like if you think about the Black Civil Rights Movement, it was a lot of very well organized sort of striking protests or images that all worked together, like I said.
Yeah, like the sit-ins in the restaurants as well. And
Yeah,
coffee poured off all over them.
Yeah, and then another massive thing which people forget is this was the 60s. This was when television was just starting to become normal. As in everybody had a television set, as in the coverage of the news, which was really important. Because then if you didn't see the sit-ins, you would see the news report showing the sit-ins. So that meant the message got out to so many more people than it would have previously. You add to that also the fact that JFK was the president. And in JFK, you had a very progressive, a very liberal, sort of young president that was always going to be more likely to listen because of his age and, like I said, his tendencies. And then sort of to add on to the television, when some of the protests got violent, so the police would use violence against the peaceful protests, that got shown on television. And that shocked people. Because like I said, you had the housewives, you had the sort of very well-to-do class seeing all this for the first time for a lot of them. And like I said, I'm not an expert. This is just my knowledge I learned at school, like A-level knowledge, so I'm no expert. But all of that I just spoke about, was any of that covered in Rosa?
No.
Because you can't cover it to do with that time limit. But you can tell Chibnall had no interest whatsoever in covering any of what I just said. And that is why quite a lot of the fandom had issues with that episode historically. And like you've also pointed out, not every white person was against the movement. If you look at the famous I Have a Dream images of that march and all the stuff going around that, there was white people there. We have got photographic evidence, so that needed to be shown as well.
I agree. And even every white person that was shown on the screen in that episode was racist. But you see, that's a misrepresentation. You can't do that. You've got to show that there were some white people that were disgusted by the behavior of people towards the African American community. But he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't show the balance. He had a certain message. Him and Mallory Blackman had a certain message that they were going to tell, a certain story, and that's the way they wanted to present it. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And it's disrespectful to the, and you're right, I agree with you 100%. Totally disrespectful to the civil rights movement. But, look at, this is the way it's done now, and you get people praising them for this sort of work. I think it's pretty disgusting.
No, it is, because like I said, that topic in history is incredibly complex.
Yeah.
It's very loaded, it's complex, because they basically had to overturn a whole way of thinking, to put it sort of simple terms.
Exactly.
They had to overturn a whole system and a way of thinking to treat them as equals.
Yeah.
So like I said, Rosa Parks was important, but one woman on the bus wouldn't have done that. It was everything happening at the right time, a little bit, interlocking of factors, all these people working together, different groups, different voices. And that's why by the end they got it. But it was a really hard battle, and there was a lot of sort of fighting and struggle. And if you would have watched that Rosa episode, you would have thought, oh, it just took one woman. And I honestly think that's the message they wanted to portray in the episode, with literally the ending of her her in the Tardis, watching a video explaining about Rosa Parks and getting the medal. And that's the thing. If you want to tackle these issues, you have to be careful. That's why some of the better historical episodes will be set in a time period, but they won't focus the whole episode on the history. It will be there, it will be referenced, or they'll use allegory. The problem was Chibnall very clearly set out that episode to be about the civil rights movement, because every other part, the alien was just a random bloke with a leather jacket.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell he wasn't interested in the sci-fi elements or the creature or anything else. He wanted to tell the history. And that's what they need to understand. Some, like I said, the more vocal people, that's why we don't like that episode.
Yeah.
Because we watched it afterwards and went, well, you're trying to do a message and you've done a terrible job of the message.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to point that out. It's like, because I was thinking, like, instead of moaning, if I had to do an episode in that time period, like, if that was a brief given to me, how could I try and think of a good way to tell that type of story with the struggles? And I basically came up with this idea of, I would have Martin Luther King as the focus, because you can have Rosa Parks as well in this, but I would have Martin Luther King as the focus. And I would have the idea of, what if Jodie or the Doctor appearing in that time period actually meant that the famous incident or event of him getting shot didn't happen. because of the Doctor. Because she turns up in the TARDIS and by accident it stops that event, basically, like a very sort of Doctor Who didn't mean to, but I've changed history sort of thing. But then you would have the moral dilemma of the Doctor saying it's a fixed point with Martin Luther King, so I have to put it back. But by putting it back, you are literally condemning his fate. And you could deal with civil rights by doing this, because Martin Luther King's your focus.
Yeah.
And you could have him talk, and you could have Rosa Parks there, and I think that'd be a real moral dilemma. Because you could do that, but that's how if that was my brief in that time period, that's how I would do it.
Yeah, Matthew Pounder's put some interesting stuff up there about Rosa. The most interesting thing that I know is that a couple of months beforehand, a 16-year-old girl had actually refused to give up her seat on a bus. But because she had a criminal record, and I mean, she had a criminal record and she was pregnant, the civil rights movement didn't think she would be the right sort of person.
See, I didn't know this until I heard a few people, like, after the episode point that out.
No, I've actually Googled it and checked it up. It's legit. Her name is, I've covered it before. Her name is, what was it? But I don't know. She was a young girl. She was 16 or something. She was 15, 16. She was pregnant. She'd refused to give up her seat. She'd done it a couple of months before, but because she had a criminal record the size of your arm, because back then, obviously, unfortunately, African Americans were targeted all the time by the police. So she had a criminal record. They didn't think that she'd be the right sort of person. So the Rosa Parks sitting on the bus thing could have been well planned after that young girl had done that. And I don't think it was Rosa Parks that inspired other people. I think this young girl inspired Rosa Parks, and then
but at the end of the day, that's the figure people know. So I can understand that. But it's just Chibnall seems to have this thing with historical characters, which is why I think this Crimea War episode, Mary Seacole, is probably going to be terrible. You can tell he just wants to boast he's done an episode about insert person here. It's like, look at Spyfall. The British spy woman. Like, there was nothing. She hardly had anything to do in that episode. And it's like, you can tell he literally just had her in there so he could boast he had her.
There's the name of the girl's name, apparently. Her name is Claudette Colvin. So you can go and Google her and learn all about her. She actually did it before Rosa Parks, but as I said, because the circles, because remember, everybody will admit this as well, though. At the time, they had a certain agenda, so propaganda to them also was a big deal. So, if they had used this young girl, they know for a fact she would have been targeted because she had this huge criminal record, and they wouldn't have been able to legitimize what they were trying to do. So then roll a few months later and then Rosa Parks does it, right? This woman, she's reserved. She doesn't have a big criminal record. She doesn't have a stain on her character according to them. And then she's the one that's used then as part of this big moving machine, as you said, until they finally got to the place where they are today. Unfortunately, obviously, we have seen now that there's been a few, I've seen it myself now, especially on social media, there has been a few cases of racism that I've seen out straight on Twitter. There does seem to be a bit of more racism going on, unfortunately. But that, I blame the media on that. I blame all of these people that say there is an issue with racism, because what's happening is that they're trying to deliberately divide people, and it is causing attention. It is, and unfortunately, because of that, then these people are being proved right then, because then people are going and attacking people because of the color of their skin. Listen, it happens to us as well. We're told white people are the enemy now. You know, we're racist if we think this way. We're racist if we own a dog. All of this rubbish, right? And that was actually a true article, by the way. If you're a dog owner, right, somehow you favor slavery, or you're okay with slavery. This was an article, by the way. This wasn't an April Fool.
Yeah, but the thing that really gets my core about that is, like, look at the civil rights movement. They actually were separated from whites. They actually were denied so much, and they had to fight. And that's what the civil rights movement was about. It was about, we are being treated as second-class citizens. We don't have the same rights. We can't even vote. So it was a real push, and that's why if you do that topic correctly, it is incredibly engaging. It is very harrowing. It is a very interesting time period.
Yeah, but again, I will add what I added at the time. Rosa Parks has no place in the Doctor Who universe. I'm sorry, because you cannot tell a complex story like that over one episode and just focus on one person. You've got to focus on all the major players, and you know, you're never going to do it justice. But listen, Sharon, we have run out of time. I don't know if you want to do the shout outs or leave it to Scottish Davros, but it's up to yourself. I suppose you won't say anything. I mean, you could plug yourselves twice, so if you want to plug away.
I'll let Daniel, because he remembers dates way better than me as well.
No.
But I'll be here tomorrow for Classic.
You will indeed. You will indeed. And Alpha Omega has already informed us what the episode.
Yes, he told me the chat, so I know what I'm watching tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'll whack it up now in a minute, lads, for you all to let you know. I'll scroll it across the screen there in a second, so you can join us for that classic episode. But listen, thank you for joining us again, as usual. Very interesting points, and thank you for coming on and talking about that. Especially after you've, as you said yourself, you know a bit about it because you know you did it for your exams. But listen, it's a fascinating topic. You know, it has multiple layers. It's very complicated, and I don't think Chris Chibnall. See, this is why I don't think you should go near things like this. But that's just a personal point of view.
Same here.
But listen, I will see you for Classic Who. Look forward to Tom Baker's story tomorrow, folks. Tom Baker. So I know that will please everybody in the chat. Tom Baker is very popular. But listen, thanks for coming on, and I'll see you tomorrow, Charlie. You have a great weekend.
Same. See you guys in the chat in a couple of minutes. Bye.
Bye. Right. So I seen something in the private chat. So what I'll do is, I don't know if Lee will mind, right? So I'll bring Lee and Alpha Omega on together if Lee is okay with that. But can I leave you two guys to last so I can bring Scott Stavros and Jack on first? Is that okay? Let me know in the private chat if that's a-okay. Oh, well, Lee has just said yeah. So, and I'm sure that Alpha will be fine with that as well. So, grand. Right, let's bring them on. Oh, by the way, we do have a $10 super chat, just blank by Alpha. So, thank you for that, Alpha. But you should write something, like, you know, even hi or something. Or, you know, I feel bad just taking a blank one. So, if there's a question you want to ask, put it in the chat and I'll whack it up or something. So let's bring him on, because come a long way, all the way from Scarborough, in fact. And as I said, he settled down in Scotland, supports a Scottish team. and enjoys the Scottish weather. It's the one and only international legend that is the Scottish Davros.
Hello. How are you tonight, mate?
I'm good, man. I'm good. And you?
Yeah, you know, I don't know if you've actually, heard this, but Eccleston is in a Cyberman episode for the audio sets.
I listened to the trailer, Daniel. I listened to the trailer. I have to be honest. You know, as I said, and you actually put a comment up on your Twitter, that I'm skeptical about this. After hearing the trailer, because I did listen to the trailer, I will say I was mildly surprised. It is great to hear him as the Doctor again, but for me, I just want to see him back on screen. But I suppose this is the best we're going to get. I mean, he did do an interview to say why he decided to come back. He said that stuff in his personal life, and he did obviously mention it's a payday as well. Like, I'm glad he doesn't change there. I'm glad he's actually come out straight and says, yeah, he needs the money as well. But he is doing it because everything in his home life is perfect. He doesn't have any personal problems at the moment, and everything just seemed to be in line. He did actually reference that he's been asked back a few times on the main show, and he just felt that at the time wasn't right, or it was too early for him to come back. Now, listening to that though, kind of does give me hope that they might be able to convince him to come back. Now, I'm not saying for the 60th because I don't know, but it could be a long show. I think if he enjoys this Big Finish experience, which it sounds like he is right now, if he enjoys this Big Finish experience, he might change his mind and they might be able to convince him to be in that 60th. Because Daniel, I know you're looking forward to the audios, but how would you feel to see him back in the 60th, man?
I would actually be overjoyed by it, but like, here's the thing, here's the reason why I was chosen to go to finish to do these odd deals appearing over the main show, is because he'll get a bit more of us of his he'll get a bit more of us in how his incarnation is trading these audios. He seems to like he seems to like he seems to he seems to like to have a bit of a say in his character development, and it's probably the reason why he and a couple of others at the BBC at the time were all is having arguments because the BBC probably didn't allow that sort of freedom. Whereas in the audio format, he can improvise a bit and put a bit more his into the together. So I think you'll enjoy that experience a bit better, to be honest.
I mean, he did say something interesting in that same interview. he said when he was sent the scripts, he was very encouraged by them,
Yeah.
and that gave him another reason why he wanted to return. I did
Mhm.
say to you and others at the time when we did cover this when it was announced,
Yeah.
that the one thing that made me have a little bit of hope that these could actually be okay was the fact that Christopher Eccleston is not going to accept a rubbish script.
Yeah.
And if he believes the scripts are rubbish, he's not going to, you could tell. I mean, when he did G.I. Joe, when he did that movie,
Yeah.
he knew, you could tell, right? He was just going through the motions in that movie. The script was terrible, right? But when he said that, he was encouraged by the scripts were great. And as you said, he will have that little bit of freedom that he wouldn't have had
Yeah.
on the main show. That was one of the reasons why him and Russell T's relationship broke down
Yeah.
along with others, because he wanted to have a say and he didn't like how particular things were going.
Yeah.
And he thought RTD would take his side, but eventually RTD took the side of the person that he was going to take the side of, the person that was obviously doing the story. So that rubbed Eccleston up the wrong way, and then obviously we had the fallout. He was blacklisted. So yeah, for him to come back and do the audios is a big deal. It is.
You get, you get,
Scripts is a big deal. I'm glad the trailer impressed me. Actually, I have to be honest. It did really impress me. I just hope now that he can kick on from this, and it gives him a buzz again that he wants to play the Doctor on the screen. Look, even if he turns up for a 2-minute cameo like Tom Baker, I don't care. Even a 2-minute bloody scene where he pops in or something and says something, whatever it is, he's foretelling something, he's warning the Doctor or whatever. Just wants it decent, but give him even 2 minutes, man, and I'm on board, man. Don't care if Joe is in it. I don't care if the Root Doctor is in it. I don't give a crap, right?
Yeah.
Christopher Eccleston, what I'll be watching it for. But go ahead, Daniel.
I get even if you probably you should have a cameo on the episode at the very least, but like and Elmsla has series. I think that's probably that's probably if along with series or is it strongest series in the new era for me personally, because if you think about it, Eccleston had to hit ground running, and because yourself, if that series had a if that series had a if that series wasn't as success as it the show the show it ended up being axed and straight away. So it's a testament to everybody behind the scenes as well back then. I'll be honest with you, because if that turned out to be a disaster, it'd have been game over for the show at that moment.
Yeah, sure. Russell was very nervous actually.
Yeah.
And you're right. Yeah, everything had to hit the ground running, and it most certainly did. I mean, Rose is not the most spectacular opening for a Doctor Who episode, but it really resonated with the audience because it got such hit ratings. By the second and third episode, I think it really did come into its own. I mean, the end of the world is the very next episode, and that was in space, and that was just. This was the first time because remember the first episode was based on Earth, so the
Yeah.
second episode he gave us, which was very clever, I thought, of Russell T. The first episode's based on Earth, but the second episode is actually then based in space on the space station platform, whatever it was. What was the platform called? Whatever it was called. But anyway, yeah, and then them little spoiler things were then. Look, that episode was brilliant, and then it followed on from there. But you're right, he had to hit the ground running. He really did. And you're right, it could have been very easily cancelled. And you know, it could have went wrong. Could have went wrong if he had got the, you know, I mean, we got David Tennant, but imagine if they you know, they had went with someone else and it didn't work.
Like I can't help but think though, like if Eccleston had a stayed up, if Eccleston had a stayed on, do you think the fan base do you think the fan base would actually put his incarnation higher on the list of us? Because I think if he did get a second series, I think a lot of fans would put him a bit higher, to be honest.
Well, Eccleston he does rate, considering he does have one season.
Yeah,
he does rate pretty high enough considering on Dr. Paul's. He's never on the bottom half of the table. He's always in the top half, but near the bottom. But he's in the top half considering he's only had one season. You know, I think what might happen though is, right, what happened with Paul McGann. Remember, Paul McGann just got that movie, and then later on, obviously he was doing Big Finish since the 90s and the mid 90s, and then carried on. But I mean, his popularity soared because obviously he did the Big Finish, and then look when he got his cameo appearance finally on the show, how popular that even was. That little story that Moffat, and fair play, I'll always thank Moffat for doing that, bringing them back. It would have been nice to bring them back for a bit longer, but I think what he gave us was satisfactory. Don't get me wrong, they should have used their heads, and at that time, seeing how popular he was, done the spin off right there and then, but they didn't. But look, I think the same will happen with Eccleston. I think if these audios are actually good, and then he agrees to do more, right? Then I think what will happen is his popularity will grow on Big Finish, and then people will go back then and watch his series again, and it'll be reevaluated. And then I guarantee you, he'll be up higher in polls. He will be up higher in polls. His season is a good season. There are a couple of episodes that I don't personally like myself, but overall, that season's a good 4 solid season. And he's look, if people wrote him off from day one, said he wouldn't be able to do the funny stuff. He proved everybody wrong. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, he is the Doctor. I want him back. I've always wanted him back. It's like Tom Baker for classic fans. They always wanted to see, would he ever pop up again. I was delighted, over the moon when that finally happened. I shed a little bit of a tear. It was brilliant. I would shed a tear. I would genuinely, after knowing what that man's been through, him and Billy Piper, when they were filming that, they were going through their own personal problems. Both of their marriages were obviously hanging from a thread. What you call it? He was going through his personal problems as well. And to come out the other side the way he has, and I have criticised him in the past. You know, I do think in the past he has come back with, he started to go to these conventions because he saw that there was money in it. But now there seems to be a genuine passion back, and I'm loving that. So I wouldn't totally rule out him returning. And I know there's talks about bringing him in for the 60th. I'd be very careful, and I wouldn't be too pushy, but I would be asking him, and you know, if you're gonna have him in the 60th, though, you need to be telling him what your plans are going to be for his character, because I don't think he's gonna do. If he doesn't think he's gonna get a significant role and play, and if he doesn't think the script is any good, he's not going to do it. He's there's a lot of actors and actresses like him, right? And we might criticize, well, you know, you've got some, just do the bleeding thing, but that's not how it works. If they're not feeling the work, they're not going to do it. So he has to feel the script. He has to see that this is going to be so, and it would have to be epic. You know, his comeback would have to be epic. You can't, you know, with David Tennant's one, when Matt Smith was the Doctor, it was fine because it was only a couple of years, so it was grand. You know what I mean? The way they brought David Tennant back, there was no big deal out of it. But with Eccleston, you have to make a big deal out of it. Just like they did with Tom Baker when we heard the voice, everybody lost their shit. That was a big deal. So, but Daniel, do you want to add anything else before I let you go? Before you do your plugs or anything, is there anything you'd like to finish on?
Like just to say before I give my shout outs, I mean, thanks for all the support to everybody that showed up again on Tuesday and I've chat from my Jerry because that was probably one of the best and most enjoyable streams I've actually organised for my channel. It was a really good conversation on a lot of the different topics actually covered on that but in terms of other content coming up on my channel, in terms of other content coming up on my channel, myself and Charlotte will be back, and I'll be back in a couple of weeks, I'm as both decided to take another or prepare can be and between that time and also as well you can follow me at Celtic Daniel 22 on and obviously keep supporting the artist owners well, because as a Gary I know, but thanks for having me on again.
No problem, Daniel, and thank you. I really appreciate it. But yeah, listen, keep up the good work and enjoy your weekend and look after yourself. And here's to Eddie Howe, Celtic manager. What did I say to you? I said, what did I say in a private chat? I says, Eddie Howe is the man.
Yeah, you said Eddie Howe's the man.
I did say it, and I even said, you know, do you know, the only reason why I said it was I thought, well, if Celtic have got rid of Neil Lennon, they'd be stupid not to talk to Eddie Howe. He could do a lot with young players. He's good. But the fact that there seems to be rumours flying that they have actually spoke to him, I'm delighted. I think him and Celtic are a perfect fit. For Eddie, it's a step up in his career, but it's the right step in my opinion. Stay with Celtic for a few years, You know, and eventually he is going to leave. So unlike Brendan Rodgers, yeah, the way he left was bad. But remember,
Yeah.
Celtic managers, if they do well at Celtic, always end up being a target for bigger clubs. It's just going to be the way it always is. But
Yeah.
I think Eddie Howe and the time that he's going to be there will turn that club around. He'll even get the youth system sorted out. He's very good. Trust me. So as soon as he's announced, you can come and say,
Yeah.
yeah, you can come and say to me, we're going to win the title because you will win the title.
Yeah.
You will win the
Yeah.
title next year now if you get him. Trust me.
Yeah.
And now. So, feck Steven Gerrard
Yep.
and his bunch of thugs. Right, go on. Talk to you later, pal. You have a good one. Enjoy your weekend, mate.
You go. See you soon.
See you soon. Up the Celtic.
Yay.
Right, let's bring him on because we then have Alpha and Problem Being coming on together. And Alpha I've seen, has been flipping on and off, so he must have some problems with his internet. So, yeah, Lee, we get it. You don't like football, but listen for a minute, right? I give the personal touch to my guests on this channel. I like to show them that I care about the things that they care about, and Daniel cares about Celtic and Scottish football. So, right, I even spoke about your song earlier, right? Sorry I'm late. Douglas says, sorry I'm late. Keep up the good work. A $2 super chat. I really appreciate that, Douglas. And you too, pal. You keep up the good work. Right, let's bring them on because then we have two brilliant guests coming on as well then to finish off the night. But let's bring them on. It's the one and only. Welcome, everybody. Jack to the channel.
Hey everyone.
Hey, Jack. How are you? How's your week? Haven't heard from you in a while. How are you getting on, pal?
First week of Easter. It's a bit boring.
Yeah, true. The wife told me it's. I didn't even know it was Good Friday today. It's Good Friday today, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, I didn't even know either.
Yeah, neither did I. Yeah. I found that a bit strange. I think that's the first Good Friday that I haven't been aware of. Because in Ireland we used to be very a religious country, so the national stations, you'd know it was Good Friday because they'd be showing the usual Jesus movies, where he gets crucified and rises from the dead and all of this stuff. They show the Ten Commandments and all of that, but that
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
happen
that was
here.
on today.
Yeah, that doesn't happen here anymore. So I didn't even know, man, till the wife said, "You do know it's Good Friday." I didn't even know that. Jesus. Yeah. So happy Easter, everybody. No, I don't know. I don't know what rabbits and eggs have in common. It's always puzzled me, that thing. But I know they used to paint eggs years ago, and Americans still do it. But I don't know how bunny rabbits came into the equation. Are they trying to say Jesus is a bunny? I don't know. You tell me. I'm only messing, Jack. So, Jack, you've been obviously, I don't know if you've been around. I've seen you a couple of times in the chat, but obviously you're aware that there's been a lot of rumors floating about on Reddit lately, and obviously it's come to light that a couple of these people have admitted that they've been faking rumors. I just want to ask you on that actually. I mean, how do you feel knowing that there are people out there that would deliberately make up rumors to get fans' hopes up that something is going to happen? Because obviously these guys know that this side of the fandom, can't wait for this era to be over. So how do you feel knowing that there are people out there that will deliberately put false rumors out there to get your hopes up?
Well, it's to be expected, really, isn't it? Because their precious era is coming to an end, and it's it's the only thing that they can do. Really, it's their last stand. Really, because they know that soon they'll be irrelevant, so they may as well go out swinging, I guess.
Yeah, I just find the whole thing just ridiculous because and hypocritical because I get accused of that, and I've made it very clear tonight. I that's the one thing I hate. I hate people that lie, and I hate people um that deliberately do things like that. When I put out my videos and stuff, or I guess source information, I always make it clear that it's rumor and speculation, but I've nothing to gain. And this is what I can't understand as well. This is what puzzles me. I don't know what these people have to gain by doing anything like this, except getting a laugh or something, or getting some sort of satisfaction from seeing other people cover this stuff, and then it turns out that it's all a lie. I mean, as I said, if this had been me and I had to pull this stunt, right, you'd be sitting here now talking to me, and the live chat would be gone crazy with trolls accusing me of being a liar, being all this, that, and the other. But yet these people can get away with this with impunity. But here, listen, we'll move away from that. Is there anything that you would actually like to bring up this week? Normally you do say talk about something, then you'll add to it. But is there anything that you've seen happen over the last couple of weeks that you think needs to be highlighted, or that has bothered you that you want to talk about?
Well, I saw a lot of articles about who the new Doctor could be.
Right.
And I remember talking to my mom about this and getting quite annoyed with some of the people I was seeing, and like, oh God, they're not really doing this. And my mom just turned around and said, look, these journalists are just clickbaiting. You know, they know that there's a huge, I'm not going to say hype because people don't care, but there's a huge interest around this. So, you know, at the end of the day, the more they stir up, the more attention they're going to get. And I think it's the same with these people on Twitter, Noel. I think they're clickbaiting. They just want attention. So they're going to come out and start saying all this stuff that isn't true. You know, which is why I'm someone who never takes anything 100 until I see it anymore. Because I remember there was this thing where Billy Piper said there was going to be a Meta Crisis series.
Yeah, that's right. But she also put a photograph up, and it had a couple of seasons of Doctor Who. You're right, and then fans were actually putting 2 and 2 together and getting 20, and basically were proposing that she was supposed to be coming back. We actually covered this and said she wasn't coming back. Actually, in a way, and people were saying, "No, she's coming back. She's coming back." But it wasn't. It was to promote I Hate Susie, is what she did it for. And I actually then called her out for it. I thought it was a pretty bad thing that she done.
Yeah.
Why use Doctor Who, put Doctor Who in the images, and knowing that it generate, and that's why she did it, because she knew that fans are still aching for her to come back, right? To come back into Doctor Who. So she played around with that, knowing that there'd be hype around our profile and everybody be keeping an eye on our profile. And then she announced our new show. It was look, I don't like stuff like that myself personally.
No, because I got really, really happy, and I was just like, "Oh my God, you know, this is great."
And then you got annoyed, of course, because then you found out it was a lie.
Yeah, just April Fool. Was it April Fool's, or was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was. It was. She just I don't know why. I just can't get my head around it. But she just thought it was a good idea. Use the Doctor Who name to promote our new show that was going to be shown on Sky Atlantic or Sky One, whatever I Hate Susie was shown on. I think it was shown on Sky Atlantic. So, I mean, look, fair enough. It's not the tactic I would use, and it worked for her. And me wife has watched I Hate Susie, and she, you know, I've watched a couple of minutes of it. It looks interesting, but my wife has said she's brilliant in it, so it paid off, because apparently she's getting another season. So yeah, that did annoy me, because, you know, why are they allowed pull stunts like that, and we're not?
Yeah, I think it's all just, they've got that barrier, haven't they? They don't have to worry about stuff like
Yeah.
this. But honestly, Nola, I just think these people hate you because you speak the truth. It's
Yeah,
like
well,
it's a classic thing, isn't it? It's like they don't like you because you make their era look bad, so they think they can get away with all this horrible stuff, and it's just a case where you just got to block it out.
yeah. To be honest with you, it's getting to the stage where, look, they've lost all credibility now anyway. I
Yeah.
mean, the stuff that they're pulling in the fandom, and everybody could see this.
I'm not sure. I was watching your streams, and when Marty was going over all the rumors, and I think the Pete Matigue one is one that I could believe. For me,
Yeah.
out of all the ones that have said, some of them I did think, oh yeah, they're obviously not true, but some of them I thought, oh yeah, that sounds pretty creditable, because in terms of showrunner, it's like he's down with the whole current BBC, so it makes sense to pass it on to him.
Yeah.
But
Well,
but at the same time, sorry,
go
go
ahead.
on.
No, go on. Finish your point.
But at the same time, it's quite ironic. You want more diversity, and yet you got another white male showrunner. Just saying.
Yeah, but see, he gets a pass, you see, because he's hip with the kids. He's in with the kids, and he knows what the kids want.
I will say this is the only Blu-ray box set that I bought was the season 26 one,
Yeah.
and I watched on the sofa or whatever it's called, where the writers sit down to watch the old stories, and he was there, and so was a woman called Julie. I think she's the one who wrote the Witchfinders.
Yeah.
And she's a bit of a feminist, and he was actually talking about it like he knew it. He was like, oh, I love this bit because, and oh, this is such great and all that, and she was kind of sat there like, oh, like not having a clue. So I will say he at least, I can tell, actually cares about the show. Like he's not just there because, oh, ideology. I genuinely think that deep down he's like, yeah, Doctor Who, I've loved it my whole life, so whether that will mean anything.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's supposed to love this show, but yeah, by the actions and the things that he writes, it seems to be the opposite. And that's what's baffling, is because this guy was a fan, or supposed to be a fan, knew the show, and fair enough, if all of this, one of the rumors was saying that this was to kind of revitalize the whole mystery around the Doctor, this timeless children nonsense. Well, if it was, I'm sorry, Chibnall, but it's backfired terribly.
I mean, it's obvious why they've done it. They've done it so that the Doctor's story can be more diverse. It's been done so that anything can be the Doctor, which is just stupid, because it's like it's not even a character anymore. And it's, I've been thinking and thinking about it, and the more I think about it, the more I'm just like, can it just be 2007 again, please? Because it's, I love the whole Doctor's backstory, and now it's just, I don't know how they can fix it now.
Yeah, that's the problem. And here's the thing, though. The most startling thing about this is that Chris Chibnall still believes that he's going to be able to wrap this up. And the thing about it is, I mean, there's so many plot holes, mate. I don't listen. Stephen Moffat. Stephen Moffat used to leave plot holes, but at least he made an attempt to kind of fix them, which he did. There was still some,
like in,
but
you know that I'm a bit of a Moffat hater, but at least in Time of the Doctor, he did wrap up the whole silence and the stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay. So at least he did that.
Yeah, see, I mean, you have to be able to be able to do that and know. See, the thing about it is, right, he's supposed to have this idea since he was a teenager or in his youth, right? That's fine. But any fan can write down anything on a piece of paper, and to them, it can be the greatest thing in the world, right? But in reality, right, it could be a pile of crap. It just looks good to you. And I think that's what's happened with Chris Chibnall. I think he thought he had a great idea, and then when he went to execute it on the screen, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work what he's trying to do. And it's left a lot more plot holes than there was before. This is the thing, the Timeless Children thing has, the whole River Song thing comes into play. His granddaughter Susan comes into play. They rebooted the universe as well. Where does that come into play? See, there's so many things that are not right with this Timeless Children story arc. And I think he's overlooked that. He should have studied RTD's era. He should have studied Moffat's era if he was going to do this, right?
But the thing is, he's been showing... Sorry. He's been, if you look at the interview, when he's young and he appears on that show, he goes on like, there should be more intellectually challenging episodes, something that's not traditional. And they turn around and they say, but I thought you fans like traditional stories. But it just, to me, Chibnall strikes me as someone who would love a bit of a Rubik's Cube rather than it's something that's entertaining. It's like when I look at a Doctor Who story, a story that I'd like to write, I just love to be given the character and write a story for that character. I wouldn't sit there and be like, okay, how can I leave my mark all over this? It's like I just want to write a story for the Doctor, not something to play around with the Doctor. And I think that's the difference between Chris Chibnall and the vast majority of fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
He thinks he strikes me as someone who thinks, this is what people want.
Yeah.
But it's not what people want.
Yeah. It's that attitude that he has, is that he knows what's best. And, because he knows the show. And listen, there's no denying that he doesn't know Classic Who. This is what this is why I don't understand this whole thing. He knows the history of Classic Who, because if what you're saying is true in that video, then he knows what's coming up. He knows the lot. He's clearly a clever man. But then he should have studied RTD's era and Moffat's era on top of that as well. And then with his Timeless Child idea that he had, then what he should have done is then made revisions to it based on what's come in the two modern eras that we had under RTD and Moffat. And then obviously he knows the history of Classic Who. He could have very easily did his idea if he had thought it through. And I think this has been his biggest problem from day one. He had a good idea on paper, but when it's come to executing it on the screen, he's done a piss poor job of it. And that's it. And that's why we're in the state that we're in. But Jack, we have run out of time. Would you like to plug anybody or plug yourself or whatever before you head off?
Well, as I said, I'm on Twitter. Post artwork if anybody's interested.
Yeah, he does bunny rabbits, by the way. And it's coming up.
Yeah.
So, as I said, bunny rabbits, Easter. There you go. If you're looking for a bit of artwork, Jack is your man. Yeah. You painted me and Sharon as rabbits. It's deadly. Did you not? I showed you, I think, before. I'll get the picture out tomorrow, actually, when we do Classic Who. Actually,
what did Cheryl think?
Yeah, I haven't actually, believe it or not, right? I haven't shown Cheryl yet because Cheryl has been all over the place these last couple of weeks with our different things that she has with our medical conditions. So she hasn't been the best. She's been in bed for most of it. Like, she's come out for a few hours here and there to watch a bit of TV with me, but yeah, she hasn't been the best. But she'll be fine. She'll be fine.
I hope she's okay.
I will show her. I haven't shown her yet, but I will. It'll be a nice little surprise, actually. Yeah. So yeah. But listen, enjoy your weekend and stay safe. And we'll see you soon, Jack.
Yeah, see you soon, Noel. Thanks for having me on, mate.
No problem. Talk to you soon, man.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. And that was Jack, everybody. And yeah, he did some great artwork, actually. And I have to show Sharon as well when she's ready to come out and mingle again. Right. Let's bring on our last two guests, and because we're getting near the 2 hour mark, so we'll be just over the 2 hours and 2 hours and 10, well, 2 hours and 12, maybe 14 minutes, 2 hours 15. Right, let's do it. Let's bring them on. It's the one and only Problem Being, or is it Prince?
Yes, formerly known as.
Formerly known as Symbol. Sorry.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
it. That's me. Symbol.
That's the one. Yeah, that was fucking stupid. What was he playing? I know what he was doing it for, but yeah, fucking stupid. Let's bring on our next guest, because what you call it. It's actually a good idea to finish off with two people. So this is not a bad idea. So it's the one and only Alpha Omega.
Hello.
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 Hi, guys.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right, lads. What do you want to bitch about this week? And you have 15 minutes. So what would you like?
Well,
to
I'm just going to start off by saying Jack Main's art is fantastic.
It is.
He's done a bunny one for me as well. So
So
yeah.
you're 22. Do you want to throw it up?
He hasn't finished it yet. So when he's finished,
okay. So you're a bunny too.
I'm a bunny too. It's so good, so good. I'm trying to encourage him to make a comic book. I think it's going to do it anyway. But if you go on Indiegogo with that stuff, it's like, yeah, look, trust me, it's like bunnies but with cybernetics. Right?
That's it, man. And give them an owl, give them an arm. That's an actual weapon. That's actually shoots out bullets or lasers or something. It has a detachable.
I've seen some of his works. Really, really good. Really good.
It's an alien bunny. It's an alien.
He's doing one of a xenomorph bunny rabbit. It's fantastic. It's like from the Alien, but like with the ears. It's great. You got a little skull rabbit inside.
Chris says, all right, I'm clipping that. It's always better to finish off with two people. No, 2021. You clip that, you put that up, right? It'll be taken out of context, and before you know it, then there'll be sexual harassment suits everywhere.
Me too. Hashtag.
Yeah, I'll be me too. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, but
I just wanted to before you go and speak to Alpha here. I just want to also go back to what Charlotte was saying about the Rosa Parks thing, and I quite thought her idea was quite interesting to have that dilemma, which is something that Chibnall never touches on, and drama requires an element of that dilemma for the audience. Doesn't really present it, but the idea of having to undo saving Martin Luther King and that kind of if I save that person, then the alternative might be that they fail, and then but if I let them die, that it will unite all these people behind that movement, and you've got all that kind of done. But again, I think it's quite right that kind of we've seen political episodes, obviously, in Doctor Who for many years, from environmental stuff to capitalism to you name it. But usually they're quite heavy-handed anyway. A lot of, especially the later 80s Doctor Who was very heavy-handed. And I think that was a sort of general trend with the politically correct thing, which was starting up at that point. And I think that if you don't add the nuance, you lose the message. And I think because it's so heavy-handed and so one-sided, and it showed every white person as basically racist, which is very much what the political agenda is at the moment. And they expect us to sit there and swallow that, you know, like, and to act uncritically of this. And I think that is deeply dishonest. And I think it doesn't offer your audience any consolation or anything to really ruminate about. Is it you're bad? And basically, the whole of Series 11 was everyone, all the monsters are not the real monsters. The real monsters are you. The white people are evil, and it was so transparent. And I don't understand why they're so quick to deny that when clearly that's something that they actually believe themselves.
I think that was
liars. I think it's.
I think that was the difference between the classic and the new Who. In the classic, you had the nuance.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say Paradise Towers was particularly nuanced, but if you look at the way that they tackled racism in Resurrection of the Daleks was very well done. I think that was very well done. And that's the kind of where it should be at. That's the level it should be at. I don't think you should be making big political points with fairly recent 20th century characters, especially when you present it that, oh, Rosa Parks only did what she did because of a white space traveling white woman alien who who made it happen for her. You know, this kind of white knighting that they get away with because you know they've ticked enough woke boxes to get away with something clearly not okay. And again, what she did with the South Asian looking master being unveiled to Nazis. That seemed okay, even though a lot of Nazis, I think the Nazis generally considered South Asians to be Caucasian, Asian, or, they did a lot of deals with a lot of Middle Eastern countries, for example, not Asia. I think India was definitely on side of the empire at the time. But they definitely didn't have a problem with South Asians, I don't think. But needless to say, not the least racist people on the planet, let's put it that way. And the general understanding of the audience who don't know history anyway, will see that is uncovering him and using his race against him, which I don't know how that wasn't called out. I mean, I think a few people did, but not on the level that they were calling out the John Smith thing for that story. Where they accused the character of being racist because he was a human living in the Edwardian times. It's just like the complete lack of nuance. Breathtaking. Anyway, that's me. That's my point. Yeah. Yep.
Anything else you'd like to add, Alvin?
No. Do you want to talk cancel culture?
Yeah, if you want to, go ahead. Who's being cancelled this week?
I don't know about this week, but overall, it's like I've heard it doesn't exist.
Yeah, right. That's hilarious.
From like logos on products from the indigenous lady on the Land O'Lakes butter. Who was removed to like Pepe Le Pew. It's getting ridiculous.
I've seen they went after. Yeah, I've seen they went after.
It's ridiculous. I mean,
they went after Speedy Gonzalez as well, but apparently the makers of Space Jam have basically said, well, F it, he's going to be there whether you like it or not.
And Mexicans love him.
Yeah, and he actually featured. He was the actual main feature when they were doing the trailer. So, do you know what? I'm glad that happened because it's a middle finger to those idiots out there that are just incensed by everything.
Pricks.
Listen, I remember when this all broke about Speedy Gonzalez, and I was looking at the comments, and it was mostly Mexican people commenting in the saying we love him. He's like they were praising him. What this is cancel culture gone crazy. Who are they to decide what's What's
Well, the great thing with Speedy Gonzales was he was a hero. He was the main character of his own cartoon, and he always won in the end. You know, he was a great character. Yes,
Yeah.
he wore a sombrero.
Yeah.
My God, you know, like everyone hold your
Big
clutch your
deal.
pearls. Yeah,
Big
but I
deal.
mean, he was a great
Listen, if that
character. I used to
offends
love
you,
him.
if that offends you, and then a picture of John Smith, David Tennant's John Smith offends you, right? Because they were in a certain story or they're represented a certain way. Well, then, do you know what you should do? You should get yourself off to a deserted island, take all the other lunatics that think the same way as yourself, and set up your own community, set up your own little. That's what we should actually do.
It will be
We
Lord
should
of the
actually clear
Flies.
one continent off,
It will
right?
be Lord of the Flies in 5 minutes. You know,
Right.
they'll tear each other apart in
You know what? That's
seconds.
what we should do. We should find a continent, right, that we don't really like, and even the people that live on that continent don't like.
Well,
Right?
Antarctica.
Right, we're gonna move this here, right? You're gonna voluntarily get a choice to go wherever you want, right? But we need you to clear this continent, and then say to any idiot that's outraged, right? That's where you go and live, right? You set up your own government, set up your own society, and we'll give you 5 minutes, as you said, and you'll be coming back begging us to help. Because at the end of the day, all of these people are stupid, right? And trust me, there'd be more chaos within the first 5 minutes of those people living together. Because you know what will happen? One group of people will be satisfied, but there'll be another group of people that won't. And then that group of people won't be satisfied, and then they still have the same fucking problems, even though they're on their fucking own. Right? They're idiots. I just look. I've no time for these people anymore. If you're offended by a woman, I mean, even Uncle Ben's, right? They want to change Uncle Ben's now because of all this racist rubbish, right? If you're offended by a packet, right, of rice, right, because it has Uncle Ben's on it and it happens to have a bloke on it that happens to be black, and you have a problem with that, well then, again, I say you need to get a life, man. It's fucking rice. Everybody, nobody had a problem with Uncle Ben's rice or Kleenex man-sized tissues until some gobshite said, I don't like that it's called man-sized tissues. Why did you call them man-sized tissues?
Well, man-sized tissues.
Now it's a large or luxury or whatever the heck they call them.
Well, you know, they got rid of Aunt Jemima, and she was made rich by her recipe.
She was a real woman. That's the thing. That one was actually a real woman, and they cancelled the real woman. Like, this is what I'm saying. It's getting ridiculous. They're not even cancelling the right stuff. Listen, is cancel culture a good thing? It can be used for good. I do believe that there are nasty people out there, and the sooner they're cancelled, the better. They deserve to be cancelled. But this is getting out of hand. They're using it now to cancel everything. It's not just people. It's like an ad from the 1970s that they don't know. I mean, look at those ads that I did get annoyed by one of the ads, actually. I did get a little bit offended by it. But I reacted to some of these American ads that were based around Air Culture Ireland, and they were doing it Irish Brit, right? But I could see the funny side. You know what I mean? I could see the funny side of that. Now, there was one ad that in particular that did actually piss me off. Now, I'm not going to lie. But out of the 99% of them that I'd seen, including the Lucky Charms ones, I was actually pretty all right with them.
Ooh, Lucky Charms.
But the thing about it is, Irish people can take the piss out of themselves. There's sometimes you do have to draw the line, you know. But you don't draw the line. I mean, if people think Irish people are offended by Lucky Charms as a breakfast, I'll give you as a laugh, actually. I was playing Fortnite the other night, and I stopped actually putting it up on my YouTube channel because every time I did a Fortnite stream, you'd have the trolls coming in telling me that I was shit and stuff. And I just don't want to be dealing with them. So I just play offline. I mean, I play online, but I don't show it. I don't stream it. So I was playing last night, right? And literally, these people, it's four, you play as a team of four. So the three people that came in were English. And one of them said, hello, do you have a mic? and I opened my mouth, right, and I said, "Yeah, I do, yeah." And then, oh, there's a Paddy. Ah, Lucky Charms are lovely. Ah, get away. Fuck all of this, right? Now, Paddy, for anybody that doesn't know, Paddy was used in England as a bit of a racial slur against Irish people. Now, we don't take it seriously. It is annoying because even like when I'm online and people here have an Irish accent, they call me Paddy straight away, and I do say, my name is not Paddy, my name is Noel. Can you use my name, please? I don't want you calling me Paddy. And some will actually call me and apologize. But there'll be others that will continue to call me Paddy as I'm playing with them. I've actually seen, right, this has been happening quite a lot actually. Over the last year and a half, I've seen a lot of anti-Irish sentiment, I should say, on the rise, and especially against myself and others out there that we know that are Irish. There seems to be this hatred again, all of a sudden, of Irish people. I can't even stream a game now without being called, and that's why I won't stream it, just in case someone says that and starts, singing the Lucky Charm, thinking it's funny to sing the Lucky Charm. Like, listen, I don't mind Lucky Charms. I've had Lucky Charms. I think they're cereal. They're not the best fucking cereal in the world, but they're all right. They are magically delicious stuff. But like, they're all right cereal. But I mean, I don't want some fucking English twat singing. No offense, Lee, but I don't want.
I'm offended.
Singing the Lucky fucking Charm song to me. Right, and then calling me Paddy, and then because Paddy was used, right? Because a lot of, I don't even know why I put the timer on. A lot of Irish people, right? A lot of Irish people when emigrated to Britain and emigrated to the US, but when they moved to England, the only jobs that they could get was bricklaying jobs and working as carpenters and stuff, and because they were, they worked hard and played hard, then you start getting all this anti-Irish stuff coming out.
I didn't know.
Posters, no dogs, no blacks, no Irish. Like on the same poster, no dogs, no blacks, no Irish. So we were even roped in with black people. That's how low we were considered as a people at one stage. Right? So don't talk to me about racism out there, right? Because my country and my countrymen and women have been subjected to it for over 800 years. So don't be complaining. You know what? This is why, again, and it's nice to see there's a lot of people out there now coming out against this whole Black Lives Matter crap, are refusing to take the knee and are saying, well, why aren't people sitting down and talking? Why is people still taking the knee, and why is there no conversations being had? Why isn't the president of the United States not meeting people to try sort out the apparent problem that they have in their country? Right? Why are we still here? Because
That's
why. Exactly.
He doesn't know where he is.
Because like there is no will to actually sit down and sort this out. Right? I will say this. Right? I will say this. If Donald Trump had got his second term in office, I do believe he would have sorted this issue. And I think I think it'd be nearly sorted actually by now. I think it would be that quick. I think he'd hit the ground running like he did in his first term. I think he'd know how dangerous this is and how quick it needs to be sorted. And I think he would have, right? They want a race war in America. And that's the next thing that's going to happen unless people see what's happening, see the way the media is playing everybody, the way the politicians are talking about this. You all need to smarten up and say enough is enough. And sit down. They're taking the knee solves nothing. Using a hashtag solves nothing. People say, well, it makes people aware. People are aware already. We don't need awareness, right? What you need is you need action, and you need to sort out the problems that you have. There are certain, listen, I've been listening to Denzel Washington. I've been listening to other actors out there. Actually, I've been listening to the guy that plays the Falcon in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And
Yeah.
again, the main talking points that they say is, if you want to sort out the issues that we have in America, well then we need to start talking about the family unit when it comes to African American families. Denzel Washington made a point. There'll be kids out robbing cars, but where's their father? Their father's probably in prison as well. Their father's father was probably in prison. So there's an absent father throughout the whole time that these kids are doing. And this is what, because the question, they tried to bait Denzel Washington into saying, well, what do you think of the American prison population has more African American men? I tried to bait him, and he turned around and says, well, I wouldn't be talking about those stats. I'd be talking about, well, what's happening in these homes that these kids end up in prison, right? And he says a lot of these families, they have absent fathers. Where their fathers are also in prison. So you need to talk about what's happening at home, and then you deal with the educational system and all of that other stuff then. So there isn't, I mean, then listen, he's been baited a few times, asked about this. There's a lot of actors and actresses now, African American, by the way, coming out against this. And the more, the merrier, I say, because what needs to happen now is there's no time to be taking knees and white people to be taking knees and to beg for forgiveness for something that they didn't do. What needs to happen is the US government and all the systems that are in place need to sit down with people and actually come to a common ground. Okay, you can have an equal society if there's a will for an equal society. And right now, I do not believe currently that there's any politician or any government around the world that wants actually that. They want to divide and separate us everywhere. It's not just happening in America. It's happening in Ireland. It's happening in the UK. It's happening in other countries as well. There's a deliberate attempt by the media to scaremongers with all this virus.
Well, that kind of backfired recently, didn't
it?
it?
And then they're doing all of this now. Trying to generate an environment where they're trying to say, well, there is a race war. You know, this is where it's heading, folks. And nobody is going to win from this except the powerful fucking people.
Well, there was that report, wasn't there, that came out this week, which said that, you know, and it was a panel of, you know, majority of people of color who were elected to that committee, who did an investigation into whether or not the UK was institutionally racist, and their findings were no, there is no evidence whatsoever.
There isn't, and like there isn't in America. It's not institutional, as they say. Yes, there are incidents that we've seen it. Like, there's no denying whether George Floyd.
All these very pasty male white liberal types are losing their shit over this, and it's just like, oh, you can't have your little wee racist country, so you can look all white knighty and come in and be king of all the blacksies peoplesies. And it's like,
you know, all the attacks on the American.
That's so gutted.
Like, it's uncalled for. When that fella stood up and showed these scars, that's what American patriotism looks like. I agree with him. It shouldn't be happening, but this is what the media is generating, right? This is what the media is generating. It's not systemic the way the media are making it out to be, but there are problems in that country. Nobody can deny that there hasn't been a rise in racist incidents, because unfortunately there has. But instead of just doing nothing about it and doing all of these hopeless causes, why not actually just do what you should have done from the start? Sit down around the table and sort it out. And also, by sorting it out, you put the systems in place to make sure that everybody, no matter their skin color, have the same equal opportunity in education and all of that other stuff, so everybody has that chance to have a great start. You know, it doesn't matter. Look, some people can have the highest amount of education and all of this and still turn out to be planks, but at least have the systems there in place where it's a fair playing field for everybody. We can get to that point in society, but there has to be a will for it. But there is no will from it from the politicians, because the politicians are all about money and it's all about greed and they're paid off. Even Joe Biden's a hypocrite, right? He voted against something back in the day, right? Now he's president. He's talking about how he's gonna fix the racism. Do you remember when he was when he was first day in office? All of these leftist twats coming out. Racism is gone. Racism is ended. No, it hasn't, because we've seen a few more incidents since then. See, if you really wanted to fix the issue, or you really cared, you would be pressuring the President of the United States to actually set the example for the rest of the world, sit down with these people and sort out the fucking shit. Sort it all out. But no, he's refused to do so, because this is the way you want the world. You want people to be in poverty, but it's not just black people. You want everybody to be in poverty. This is why we're in the situation that we're in now. I've heard of this thing all about the Great Reset. Do we believe it? Do you know what? It seems to have some basis in it. I think that's what actually is happening. I think this is some sort of Great Reset. I think they're trying, listen, everybody's going to start from the bottom again. We're not going to have any money. Look what the pandemic has done, or this so-called pandemic has done, wherever what you believe, right? It's drained the money. We're running out of fucking money. We've no money. They've all got money. We've no money. The ordinary people have no money, right? We've become poorer again, right? Because you know what was happening? We were getting too much money. That's why the recession came along. They deliberately crashed us, and they wanted to keep us on the bottom. They don't want us to recover. They never want us to recover again, to have money in their pockets, because the more control they have over us, the better. All of this, I mean, Ryan Reynolds put up a Daily Post, made me laugh. So he got his vaccination, right? But he wrote up, I just got 5G. Because people were saying there's 5G, there's little chips in the vaccine and the 5G thing. So he just wrote when he was getting his vaccine, I just got me 5G. I thought it was funny. But listen, that's what it is. They want to keep us down. And I think people need to wise up to what's going on, because before you know it, we'll be back at a time where listen, right? Our freedoms are getting ebbed away year after year, month after month. Before you know it, we'll have no freedom. We'll be as bad as all of these so-called communist countries where the people can't do that. And we're turning out.
Well, of course, China is the model. You know, that's what they want in the West.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not going to happen as long as I'm around, because I'm not putting up with that. I believe in freedom of speech. I believe that a person has a right.
Yeah, well, this is the problem. You got people. This is why I found myself politically homeless when this identity politics thing started kicking up, and that saying that freedom of speech was some sort of right-wing, alt-right dog whistle. It's just like, I have always believed in freedom of speech, and I really thought, you know, growing up, that this was one of the main tenets of being a liberal-minded lefty, like I was, and you know, and then for them to turn on a dime overnight, it was like it was night and day 1 minute, and then it was changed the next. You know, and I was so blown out of the water. I couldn't resonate with that, because it just seemed to me to be the ultimate expression of fascism, to deny people's freedom of speech because it's speech they don't like. For me, I can't get my head around that. Like, there are plenty of things that I disagree with, but it's not down to me to shut down people's right to say that, because if I can do that to them, they can do that to me. And that's something we have to be absolutely guarded, because freedom comes at a price. Okay, you have to constantly be vigilant to keep it. And the minute you let go of it, and willfully so, like we're seeing this huge power play now to remove freedom of speech. Yeah. Once it's gone, you ain't getting it back. And once that's gone, you are the useful idiot that will fucking either march us to the chambers, or you'll be the first against the wall when that comes, because it always ends the same. When you start bringing that kind of shit in, you're bringing in mass
That's
graves.
it.
That's how it always ends.
Repeating itself again. It's repeating itself again. Have we not learned from past mistakes? History is repeating
Well,
itself.
that's why they're so busy trying to rewrite history and to change it. You know, this whole postmodernist obsession with deconstructing and reconstructing history in their own image is denying the reality of what happened. And by doing that, you are orchestrating the absolute erasure of history and replacing it with this kind of almost 1984 style history, you know, this ministry of truth, which is based on lie after lie after lie. And you will never learn anything from history. We'll make the same mistakes and worse, because all of those important nuanced understandings and lessons from history are lost.
Yeah, we're supposed to have the freedom of speech here, Second Amendment and all that. It's going away. It's slowly going away.
Of course it is. It's the same in Ireland. The European institutions are slowly but surely choking every country with their laws and all of this, enforcing, because we're part of Europe. Obviously, we don't have Irish laws anymore. We have European laws. We don't have our own. We don't make our own laws anymore in this country. This is what happened when the people signed away with the Nice Treaty and then the other treaty. Fucking idiots. They were bullied into it, or we were bullied into it. I have to be honest. They scared the fucking Irish people into doing it, but still, right? And this was the result. Now, if Irish people knew now if they knew back then what they know now, I'm telling you, they would have stood up to this government and said no again. But they didn't. The government did do a good job and scared us. There was ads everywhere. Well, if we don't join Europe, this was what will happen, blah, blah, blah. Like, they really did. We don't sign up to this Nice Treaty and then this other treaty, we're fucked. You know, but it was all a lie. It was just slowly to take. Listen, as I said, our government doesn't control our budgets. They can write up a budget, but they have to send it to the EU then to be revised. If they don't like, if they think that the Irish government haven't made enough cuts, they will force the Irish government to make cuts.
Yeah, and don't forget the EU is predominantly very pro cuts. You know, they talk a big game about how liberal this organization is. It really isn't. A lot of the recession moves, the monetary union moves were done in order to control the spending and the cuts that, like when we had those cuts in Britain during that crash, was a diktat from the EU. So, you know, it's all well and good. You know, people were complaining about the Tory government doing this, that, and the other. Well, you know, what happens when you can't make your own laws? You know, you are the behest of a centralized power unit, which is unelected for the most part, and certainly the elected members have no power whatsoever, only to sit there and vote things through without any discussion.
Yeah.
And the policy of having these massive cuts was from the EU, not from the Tory government. You know, I'm not defending the Tory government by any stretch. By God, they ruined my family back in the 90s. So I have no love for them whatsoever. Yeah. But
by the way, Chris asked,
I'd much rather be able to elect the fuckers out than this.
But even if you do elect them out, you're still electing it. Listen, see, this is where people need to kind of stop being conned, right? I wised up a long time ago, right? All of these parties say they represent different things. But at the end of the day, when they get into power, they end up following the manifesto of the government before, right? They can never keep to their promises that they keep. They lie to us. This illusion that we actually have the freedom of a vote is an illusion. Because no matter who you pick, they're going to be as bad as each other. Right?
Is it Red Ken?
How that ended up, he has crashed just.
Was it Red Ken who said if voting changed anything, they would outlaw it?
Says Lee, how can the younger generation learn from history when it's edited to omit the atrocities of the past? Now, I did see a video, by the way, by a history teacher. These kids don't even know who Hitler is.
Yeah.
You don't know what Pearl Harbor
But they
is.
know they know to call a celebrity a Yahtzee. They know
Yeah,
they
right.
know to do that, but they don't
Yeah.
know who Hitler was. You know,
No, they
that's
don't know who Hitler was. Seriously, they actually thought Pearl Harbor. Now, maybe there is a bridge called Pearl Harbor, and maybe that's where they got confused. But they genuinely thought Pearl Harbor was a bridge. They didn't know who Hitler was. Now, Hitler, we all know who Hitler was. We grew up all knowing who Hitler was. Hitler was Hitler was the poster child of evil, right? That's who we were told. Never aspire to be this man. This is what evil looks like. We seen what that man did and his army. We seen the damage that they caused. 6 million people lost their lives because of this man. And these people don't have the respect to know who this man is and then go around and call people Nazis.
Yeah.
Disgrace. And by the way, I used to do it myself though, right? With Series 11 Earth, I used to use the word Nazi. I'm going to admit it. I did, right? I said it on this
that term's thrown around a lot. It means nothing.
Yeah, but when I thought about it, and I actually thought about what I was saying, how can I compare these online trolls to what Hitler did to the Jews? And I thought to myself, no, I'm never going to use that word again. So don't use it. I think anybody that does use it, and I have used it in the past and I've apologized for it, but anybody that uses that word and you're disrespecting what happened, those 6 million people. You ought to be ashamed of yourself when you use that word. Okay? And by the way, get yourself a history lesson and go back and look at what that prick did. Right? Because I tell you, when you see the pictures of wasted away people, right? And you see their rib cages, and you see the way they were starved and treated, right? And you see the footage of those concentration camps, right? And you don't then change. You don't change the way you talk to people, and you still continue to use that word. Well, then that tells me a lot about you.
Well, that was that awful woman on that show with what's his face from Politically or whatever it was. Bill Maher, yeah, and she a former Democrat elected member of their house or whatever. She came on and said about Gina Carano. She said she was a Nazi and she was hanging around with white supremacists, and it was just like, what? Like, this woman doesn't probably even know who Gina Carano is, other than what she's been told.
But again, you have a very powerful politician.
I hope she sues the bitch.
Yeah, but hold on. But again, you have a very powerful politician that's going around and using terms like Nazi about an actress that, in my opinion, yes, I think she should have eventually, when she was told and warned by like the rest of the staff, even though I think Disney dug a hole for themselves anyway by not stopping everybody from day one. That's how you would have solved that issue. But they didn't, and they allowed let certain activists say whatever. But here's the thing: you've got a politician like that using the
former
right? That's disrespect. I just can't get me. That's disrespect. No, see, they're trying to dilute words like that. That's why they use them. They don't want those words to be as powerful as they were before. When you hear the word Nazi, that should make you shiver. Should make you think of the atrocities of what those people did to 6 million.
It's utterly
and it could be more, by the way. We just been given 6 million. It could be well more than 6 million. We'll never fully, truly know the extent.
Well, a lot of the paperwork was destroyed.
The Germans did. Well, they have, but listen, we don't know exactly everybody. Listen, there's it's like all of the stuff that the Germans robbed's never been found, all that art and stuff. I'm telling you, man, I reckon there is a lot more that have never.
It's called Switzerland and Luxembourg. That if you want to know where all that shit went, that's where it went.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Well, I'll tell you, using that term, and that's why that's why I did. I came out and I said it. I'm never going to use that, and I apologize because it is disrespectful. You can't be gone. No, and these people just don't care, but they use it because they want to dilute it. Imagine not knowing who. Seriously though, how dumb do you have to be that you wouldn't know who Hitler, Stalin?
Well, I think that's an indictment of the education. No, I think that's an indictment of the education system in America and in the UK, in the West in general. And when you've got teachers who are more obsessed with what color the plaster is to put on the cut knee of your student than who Hitler was, I think we have a massive, massive problem.
Yeah,
quite honestly.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's look. I just, this needs to stop. It does. Someone needs to stand up and say, "Hang on for a minute." You're using the term Nazi very liberally there. The Nazis caused millions of deaths. How can you? Someone should actually say to when someone calls someone a Nazi.
I do.
How can you compare what this person is saying or has said to the death of 6 million Jewish people? How can you see? What baffles me is that to them that's the same. It's the same. And online
words of violence
is the same as 6 million Jews being killed. And I can't get my head around that. The 6 million
they use it now for just anybody who they disagree with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just to shut people up. And it used to be when you called someone that, it was so utterly devastating. It was effective. Now they say it all the time. Everyone just sort of rolls their eyes and ignores them or just calls them out. They're bullshit. And they've managed to devalue that word themselves through overuse and through its cynical employment.
Absolutely.
And more fool them, frankly.
And that's what they do. But that's what they do with all. But you're right. That's what they do with it all, though. They water it down so much that it doesn't become as important or irrelevant. But it is.
And it should be.
Things like that should always be relevant and important. Because why? Because we learn from those mistakes. We make sure that we never let anything like that ever happen again. That's why. But it
is happening. It is. I mean, that's exactly what Gina Carano was pointing at, and she was absolutely right. And I still defend her. She was saying, and it is a warning from history. That's why history is important. And what she was saying was quite right. Now, I'm not saying that these people, these nutters on Twitter, are going to suddenly go out with fucking tiki torches and go off and burn books in the middle of the street and start beating up.
They don't have the stomach for that.
But the problem, the problem is it can change on a dime, and the more the media allows and indeed encourages this narrative that white people are racist, that they are evil, that they're inherently bad, and all the rest of it, and to a whole generation growing up with that could cause a similar situation like it did in the 1930s. And that is a warning from history. If you start demonizing groups of people and make it okay by the state to attack these people because you perceive them to be Yazis, then that can happen again. And it's very important that we remember that. And it's not that she was referring to these people as Nazis, but we're saying that if we don't stand guarded against this encroachment of freedom, and the attacks on people because of a certain political belief or ideology, which is not, as it is painted out, they're not far right, they're not Nazis, they're just conservatives. And that cannot be used as a legitimization to attack people for that or to go after them. Because that is where tyranny lies. And that was the warning that she was giving, and she got fired for that. And it really rather proved her point. And that's all I'll say on it.
I'm going to end this stream on a positive note. So I'm going to play as a little song, if Lee will let me. Lee, I'd like to play your version of Jack's song to finish out the stream. But I don't know. I need to ask you though. If I do, am I gonna get a copyright?
Well, you might get a copyright because it's a cover version, remember. And if you're monetized, I don't know. Probably
Let's
not.
find out.
Do you know what? We'll just take a risk. What?
Oh,
If
you're crazy.
Mind, I got a couple of super chats, so that's that's okay. So
Let's have that.
if you change your mind, I'm the first in line.
Well, if you get a copyright strike, don't blame me.
I'd like to hear a techno version of that song. I know Erasure did one.
ABBA rules.
But I'd love to see
I love ABBA.
a Problem Being version.
No, Erasure did it better than anyone can do it.
Problem Being.
Called.
Actually, why am I not just going into me? There you are, there, me subscriptions. You're right there, the first name. And there I am just searching your video. Right, where is this song? Right. I'll play this tune because I like it. It's very catchy. But hold on. Right. Now, gotta be honest with you, right? Gotta be honest. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, we got 2 super chats now. Fucking hell. Unknown 289, and thank you for the $10 or £10 super chat. Grease 2 cover songs when? Oh Jesus, Grease 2. Lee, would you fancy doing a Grease 2 cover tune for him?
Yeah. What's the diplomatic answer? Possibly not. Maybe.
And Alpha Omega with a $50 super chat says, yeah, Abba, I think you definitely do have to do. Do you know what you could actually do? Lay all your
lay all your love on me.
Yeah, lay all your love on me.
I love that song.
Yeah, that'd be a dead music because that has a good beat.
I don't think I've got the range.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll sing that. I'll do the vocals, you do the music, and then we can.
I did a instrumentally kind of remix of a song called "The Piper" from the Super Trooper album, which was one of the first albums I bought as a kid.
Listen to Alpha and to Unknown and to everybody else with the super chats. So really do appreciate them. So thank you very much. Seriously, blown away by those last 2. Right, but here we go. I think this is a perfect way to end. But let me know what you think of this, guys. Right, when I finish playing it. But here, I better shut up and just hold on. Have we got it up? Yeah, we do. Right. So this is Lee's cover of "What Have You Done For Me Lately" by Janet Jackson. And I just want to let you know that I fucking detest this song with all the passion. I think Janet Jackson.
Great.
I think Janet Jackson is the least talented.
So the guy who likes Britney Spears, go for it.
Well, okay, yeah, I'll give you that. Right, I do hate that song. But then Lee posted this up, and I went and I said, "Feck, do you know what?
This is old."
So I went in, I had to listen to it. It might be old, but I think you could release it today. Let me see. Let me know what you guys think. Here we go. This is it. This is Lee, as you've never heard him before.
Or will again.
Right. Oh, I just love that beat. Seriously, I just love that beat.
I apologise in advance.
See, you have me going now. I wish you could see me. I'm dancing. Woo!
Your friends seem to think that you're so picture clean. My friends seem neglected on your mind. What have you done for me lately?
Yeah. What have you done for me lately?
Oh God.
Even Ted loves it. Ooh, yeah.
That clapping's going through my brain.
This is just deadly, man. Oh yeah. Think about it, right? That blasting out of a sound system. Me lately. Come from me lately. The music is just brilliant.
What are you doing?
Well, I like it. If the rest of them don't like it, it's my channel.
Sounds like Noel slapping Chris Chibnall's face.
It's that beat, man. That beat.
The 80s, really.
We should get people to dance in their sitting rooms, so right? Send you the clips and then you can put a video of them all dancing to your tune then. Yeah, they done from me lately.
Wardrobe malfunction.
It's alright, we don't have to worry about Lee having a wardrobe malfunction.
Not likely.
He doesn't have the builds.
No.
There you go.
Not yet.
That was
awesome.
That was brilliant. What did you think of that, folks? Do you know what? I played that to Sharon earlier. I know I'm messing. Lee probably thinks I was messing. But as I said, Cheryl didn't know who it was and I played it to her. At first she thought it was Prince. I says, and I go, it's not Prince. And she's like, yeah, well, who is it? I says, it's someone we know, right? I said, just listen. And she goes, that isn't Lee, is it? I says, yeah, it is. I turned the computer around. And she was, she was
Matthew.
Pleasantly surprised. I have to say, I love the beat to that. Sorry, must be the only one then, but I thought that was fantastic.
Thank you.
And I
Long time.
Song. So the fact that you've actually turned a song that I fucking hate into a song that I can actually sit there and enjoy listening to says a lot. Trust me, because I hate Michael Jackson. I mean, the only song I like of hers is the one she did with Michael Jackson, Scream, because they were two weirdos in that video, and I just love it. I think that's a great video as well. Iconic, actually, two Jacksons, the sister and Michael. In a video, but that's as far as it goes with Janet Jackson. But yeah,
unknown to 896. I love all songs Noel hates.
No, I love a lot of music. I mean, I just don't like Janet Jackson. That's all. I like Madonna. Yeah, as everybody well knows, being highlighted, I'm even a Britney Spears fan.
Well, you like all
Marina and the Diamonds. I like Marina.
I do like Marina and the Diamonds. So
Ellie Goulding, our early stuff now. she got a bit too commercial, but her early stuff is pretty good. Obviously Amy Winehouse when she was around. Frank was her first album. I was a big fan of Amy Winehouse.
You too?
I like U2's whole stuff. Yeah. But
I like their I like the stuff from sort of the Acton Babies Europa stuff. I like that. Yeah, I love all that.
Yeah. That's when they were kind of gone through that kind of punk rock phase kind of thing, wasn't it?
The Berlin phase, yeah, like, you know, let's copy David Bowie.
I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's the Joshua Tree kind of stuff, which I kind of still like. But they just became just, you know, tedious dickheads. Basically.
I mean, I like a lot of Irish artists as well. Cranberry, Sinead O'Connor, Enya, you know,
Mary Black.
Mary Black is brilliant as well. Yeah, Frances Black, her sister. You've got Christy Moore, Luke Kelly. You know, you've got the Dubliners as well, which were.
Colonnade.
You got loads, man. You got loads.
Deadwood.
Like, you know, back in the day, I like boy bands as well. Back in the day, I was an Oasis fan.
No.
See, I was a contradiction, right? Because I'd listen to a Backstreet Boys song, not a bother. But then, then an hour later, I'd be sitting there and I'd be listening to all my Oasis albums. Like, I literally had grown up, every new Oasis album they brought out was a big deal. And I always got the latest album. I had every single Oasis album. I was on an Oasis fan. I hated Blur, obviously, because, you know, there was a bit of a rivalry.
Suede were my
Suede were good. Pulp was actually good as well. Pulp were not too bad either.
What about Come On Eileen?
No, hate it. Hate that fucking song. One of my ex-girlfriend's ma's called Eileen. Fucking hate that song. Seriously, man. Fucking money back. It's a good song. It's just being tainted a little bit.
That's like pure pub rock, that is.
Yeah. But yeah, I like. Look, I
it was
like
big here.
Whitney Houston, Mariah. You know, I like all the big. You know, I even went through a Ricky Martin phase and a Rico Iglesias fucking phase.
Oh my god.
Fuck's sake, my music is eclectic. That's what they call it. I mean,
but eclectic means from, you know, like, not just pop rock. You know, it's like I've got an eclectic taste.
Yeah,
I am eclectic.
The only thing that I won't really, and I have listened to it, but I won't go out of my way to
Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Yeah, that was great.
It's a bit of jazz. I'm not a huge jazz fan, but I have sat there and listened to a few jazz albums and it's bored the shit out of me. But people obviously like all of that, but not a huge jazz fan. But other than that, now I'll listen to Anton. And if there is a new jazz tune that's out there and it has a bit of a beat, I'll listen to it. You know, you can
David Bowie's last album was quite jazzy.
Yeah, you can get a bit of a mashup.
He actually hired a jazz band to work with.
But that's what I mean. You can do all these little different mashups as well, which will be great. That's, you know, I like Eminem, Tupac, Biggie Smalls, NWA. I was a big fan of NWA when I was a kid. That music was always on the gas for me.
And Orinoco Flow.
Yeah, and I always play a bit of when I used to.
If you like Enya, you'll like Dead Can Dance and Delirium.
Yeah, Delirium, brilliant. Delirium, absolutely brilliant. And then some DJ took up one of their tunes called Silence.
Tiesto, I think it was.
Tiesto, but someone else did before them. Delirium did it. No, Delirium actually did a rave version of their own tune. Sorry, that's what it was. And it was epic. It was played in all the clubs. But
I would say the album, the original's better. Like the album Karma is like one of my absolute favorites of that album. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So I mean, there's great music out there. And listen, even to this day, right? Even this day, I do slam a lot of the music that comes out today, right? But there are still a couple of artists out there that are coming out with some cracking cracking tunes. It's not all bad doom and gloom, but I am more. I mean, I throw up. I probably have people annoyed now because lately, over the last few weeks, I've been listening to a bit of music after my streams. I listen to a bit of music before I go online and play a game or something, and I'll play a few songs and I do share a few songs. Now, obviously, a lot of you will see from the music that I have been shared that one of my biggest passions, though, the dance music scene. So I love a bit of techno. I love a bit of
Cranberry Shane.
I love a bit of Brooklyn bounce and all of that stuff. I love it. Look, still even to this day, I'm 41 years of age now. I think 40. I'd say I don't even know how old I am this year. But in June, I think I'm 42 or something, right? And I'm still a raver at heart. You know, I still love that music.
I miss going out. Oh my god, I used to go out so much.
Sharon, man. And you know what? I was even saying to Sharon, you know what? After this, I haven't been to a nightclub in ages, but I'm gonna go to one of those nightclubs that play the dance tunes of the 90s, you know, and go to one of them. I know it's a no. I never thought I'd end up in a place like that, but go to those places that I used to slag as a kid, you know, teenager. Oh, let's go to one of those over 30 places. You know, that's where I was going. But like, man, just to rave out to all the old tunes, man. Oh, man. Seriously, but I've been playing a lot of songs lately and throwing up a lot of songs lately that have been reminded.
Good. I like doing that sometimes. But it's funny is that you throw out a music video, no one wants to fucking play it, but you throw out a fucking video about anything else, so they'll watch. Because music, you know, takes a level of engagement, and some people just don't seem to have time for it.
Yeah,
that's why I had to do a music video for the Ocean Man thing, because I knew it wasn't going to get any traction. I had to do a video, but it's interesting when you post music videos. Yeah, you have to get. I don't know. It's funny because for me, I get such an enjoyment from sharing my love of music with people, and you know, it's very difficult to get people's attention. But yeah, it's a shame because it's such a wealth of stuff that people, I don't know, could learn something new or you know, find some new, you know, something like, wow, you know, I've never heard stuff like this before. I love engaging with people on that level. So.
Right, just before we leave, I know it's something stupid, but we do kind of like to end on either something stupid or me going on a big mad saying good night for about 20 minutes, but I'm going to say good night now in a minute. But Domino's Pizza one day ago put up something controversial, right? And it's caused a bit of a debate amongst people. And just very quickly, I'll ask the panel, and you guys in the chat real quickly can tell me this. Do you agree with this statement or do you disagree? So according to Domino's Pizza, pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. Now, let's get into it, right? Because I'm going to say this. I was one of these people that said, no, pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. But one day I did try one because I said, I want to know what all the fuss is about. So I got a ham and pineapple pizza and I gave it a go, right? Now, I don't know what it is, right? But for those that are saying that pineapple doesn't belong on pizza, I would actually disagree with you. It's a weird combination, all right, but it works. Actually, I know people that have actually put olives on with the actually, they did it in the Deadpool movie as well, where Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds' character before he becomes Deadpool, gets a pizza and it has anchovies on it and olives. And no, I wouldn't do the anchovies.
Salty, hairy fish. No,
I definitely do the olives with ham and pineapple, but I just have
pineapple and ham goes.
It does.
Hell yeah.
It does actually go because you do the sticks with pineapple and cheese on them. So why wouldn't it go on the fucking pizza? I mean, they're putting chocolate on pizzas now. So this debate whether pineapple on pizza works or not doesn't work. It does, right? If people think that chocolate pizzas work, I think they're disgusting, actually, those chocolate pizzas that they make now. And they sprinkle shit on them and all of this crap and give you no, that's fucking criminal.
I posted on Twitter. I posted on Twitter like how pineapple and ham pizza is the best pizza. I got absolutely trashed for it by people. It's disgusting. Like, you can't put fruit in a pizza. But it's like, you have tomato on your pizza. That's a fruit.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of people in here saying
pineapple and cheese goes. I mean, come on. It's like the thing from the 70s and 80s. People lived on it.
Well, pineapple and ham does go together, by the way, guys.
Yes,
absolutely. And fruit, by the way, has always been used in main dishes for meats. You know, you've got your different. I mean, for example, a lot of people use cranberry, don't they, when they eat turkey? Right? I know that's poultry; it's not actually meat. But what do they use for lamb? You've got your mint sauces. You've got for pork, you've got your apple sauce. That's a fruit.
And you have chutneys. You have chutneys that you put with meat.
I mean, fruit has always been part of. Believe it or not, you're supposed to have some sort of.
Now here's a pizza. Here's a pizza that I came up with, and it's really good for vegetarian. I'm not vegetarian, I used to be, but like I came up with a vegetarian pizza, which is absolutely fucking amazing. It's a margarita with dill, chopped dill,
right,
cashew nut, and pine nuts.
Whoa. Interesting pizza.
Oh my god, it's fucking amazing.
Now, do you know what I'd whack on that?
Meat.
A bit of goat's cheese and spinach.
Goat's cheese, spinach, maybe. I don't like goat's cheese so much. It's too salty and too goaty.
Yeah, I do like. Cheryl actually got me.
You say cashew?
Cashew, yeah. Cashew and pine nuts.
I like cashews, yeah.
Listen,
but on a pizza,
because I'm not a vegetarian by any stretch of the imagination, and I always order a meat pizza. And she said to me, "Why don't I try something different?" So I had there was a goat's cheese or blue cheese with spinach. It was goat's cheese with spinach, and I thought it was going to be absolutely horrible, lads. I really did, right? And I took the first mouthful. I'm telling you, like if I don't get a meat pizza, that'll be the pizza I'll go for now.
But if you do try the nut pizza, the cashew nut and pine nut, don't forget the dill. Chopped dill is the most important thing because it just brings it out. Oh, gorgeous.
Right. Listen, we've talked about pizza, we talked about music, we talked about on the Doctor Who rumors. This is what we do on a Friday. I hope you have enjoyed the chat tonight. I really have, guys. And I just want to thank Alpha, Omega, and everybody else, but especially you, Alpha, for the $50 super chat. And then the 10 one before that as well. So $60 of super chat. So really, seriously, man.
Drinks are on you.
Thank you. And to everybody else that did contribute as well with super chats, thank you very much. And you guys in the chat as well for taking part and telling us about your pineapple, whether you like it on pizza or not.
Chris Persia is a freak. He doesn't like pineapple and pizza. I don't know. But thanks for posting my links.
Right, what I'll do is, lads, you two can go. Oh, see. Right. What can I mean?
He says no pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, no, he wants pineapple and pizza.
Ted is demanding his cut of the 150 grand that he helped us rob from that bank. He was the TMI. I was just waiting on someone, but it didn't happen. But I was waiting on someone to actually say, "Oh no, look at those at the robbing a bank," not realizing that I was talking about my dog being the getaway driver. Like, how would that work? Like, seriously. Well, listen, before we do go, lads, I'll let you use our plugs. So, Lee, plug your music. Also plug your channels, your social medias, and whatever.
Yeah, you can find me at on Twitter at Being Problem. You got my other account, which is Dread audio visual. Yeah, all the music video stuff that you've heard a clip of today, that's on my channel, which is the Problem Being one. And also, don't forget the song Meltdown Ocean Man featuring Hill versus Babyface, still available for download and streaming on all legit platforms, including iTunes and Amazon, Deezer, whatever it is, all of that. Find it. Pay for it. Buy it.
What we're going to do is, as Alpha has chosen the next story that we're going to do, we'll let Alpha announce his story. So, Alpha, the Tom Baker story, drum roll, please.
And the next Tom Baker story will be his last, Logopolis.
Ooh.
So there you go, John.
I'm going to have to relive the trauma again. My childhood trauma.
That's it.
Yes.
We'll have to get the man-size tissue. Oh, sorry, fuck, they're not called man-size tissues.
I may or may not be here for that tomorrow, but I hope to be.
Right.
So,
right. Well, we start a little bit later than we start at 7 instead of 6 now. So yeah, that if you can make it, well, sure. If you're not here, sure, we'll.
If I can, I will definitely be here.
Yeah, we will enjoy it for you anyway. Yeah, we'll definitely enjoy that story anyway. Right.
Yeah. Friday Night Tights has started as well, so I'll be.
Yeah, just want to head over to the lads there on Friday Night Tights, but that's it.
And Az is dressed as the Witcher by the looks of it.
No, and Az is dressed as the Witcher. So if you just want to go and check Az out with all these madness, dressed as the fucking Witcher, Jesus Christ, that man is hilariously funny. Right, we're off. I'll see you tomorrow for Classic Who, Sunday for New Who, and yeah, we'll see you soon. So have a good one. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. And again, thank you again, Alpha, for those super chats. Blown away, man. Thank you. Really appreciate it. And everybody else. And moderators as well. Thank you. Everybody in the chat. See you. Good night. Have a good one. Here's the channel trailer.
Good night.
Okay.